Oh, so close to me, you burn in hell forever, 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 forever. Oh, so close to me, you burn in hell forever, 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 forever.
everyone, and welcome to Blvd Bullies versus the world. I am your host, PK, with the Blvd Bullies, and I'm joined by Brian, the Bad Take, One Punch merch guy, and the legendary one, my wrestling father, black and mild aficionado.
Yes, indeed.
CZW Hall of Famer. The legendary one, Larry Legend.
Welcome again. Welcome back. Welcome back, Larry.
Legendary intro, Patrick.
Hey,
legendary
thanks.
intro, if I do say so myself.
I get a little nervous because, I want to give the legendary one a good intro.
It was proper. It was proper.
Larry
Yeah,
taking
absolutely.
up, Larry doing his residency here on the Bully Show for the foreseeable
Indeed.
future. Attendance is not mandatory. You might be wondering what I'm wearing on my head. I get really bad headaches, and this is like a gel, refrigerated gel compression
Interesting.
headband. I had like a really
Interesting,
bad headache before the show.
That's actually genius.
Yeah, it's actually really, really good. I haven't even put it in the freezer yet. It just gets cold from regular temperatures. The reason I bring
Wow.
that up is because conspicuous by his absence, ringside Sean,
Where is he?
he's got a big time tooth boo-boo.
Oh, no.
Big time.
I've been there.
He's had it for a while now. He's been putting up with it.
Yes.
He's needed like a root. He needs like a few root canals or some shit.
I had one.
Mm.
The drugs are great.
Right.
The drugs are great during, and they're okay after. But once you don't have any of those drugs,
Oh yeah,
that's
it's actually quite amazing. Amanda had him too recently, and once they give you that Novocaine shit, you can't feel nothing.
Yeah.
Nice little
yeah.
Noxus.
It's just like
You know what else causes you to not feel nothing is ketamine.
that's an animal tranquilizer.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
used in dentist's office traditionally.
Yeah, no, but it makes you, it's an antidepressant, and you also don't feel anything.
Well, did you know they're actually starting? Therapists are starting to prescribe it. It's starting to be prescribed to people.
Yeah, I understand
As
that
an
you can get
antidepressant.
you first get a pill form, but then eventually you get the nasal.
Right. Those spritz.
Dude, a little fucking ketamine nose spray just to keep you out of the dumps? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I
You
was
can see people walking down the streets, spritzing themselves.
I was offered ketamine once, but I considered that like a scary drug. At the time. It was a scary drug to me.
The name of it sounds scary.
K-hole. You could go into a
yeah.
K-hole.
People talk about it. It definitely is.
Apparently, you go into a K-hole,
Put on-
wind up
puts
on
on.
the beach.
Indeed.
So that's what we need. I think we're probably going to have to prescribe Sean a little ketamine nose spray, get a little pair of pliers, and have like a necro butcher rip his teeth out.
Have you ever seen the footage of Madman Pondo removing one of his teeth instead of going to the dentist at his kitchen table?
Oh my god! What did he use pliers?
Indeed, he did.
Oh my god! I need to see it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that just made my whole entire mouth hurt.
Well, you know what? I bet you he felt much better after he did it.
He did it at his kitchen table. If you guys are familiar with Death versus Luke Hadley, he used to always have this footage of like Necro and Drake in the hotel after a match, or Danny Havoc being his philosophical genius self.
Right.
Just all types of little clips. And I believe one of the clips, if you search Death versus Luke Hadley, he was the one that I saw it from, is Pondo, being his own dentist.
That's insane.
If I had to guess in my mind, just close my eyes and think about one wrestler who would have removed their own tooth. I don't know why. Actually, now that I say that out loud, I'm thinking like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. But Pondo would be up there. He'd be a top 5 self-dentist.
Yeah, for
I
some
can't
reason,
even
maybe
imagine
it's just
bringing myself to
because maybe it was just because I was around him so much. I feel like the Briscoes as well just gave an aura about them that, oh yeah, got a rotten tooth, pull it out. So I know that Mark lost his front teeth in an accident at the 2300 Arena when Jay cocked back with a chair, didn't realize Mark was so close to him in the back, and took his teeth.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember when Cesaro or Claudio now did he deeped into the turnbuckle and he hit like the posts instead and he knocked them into his gums?
Brian, I actually, that came to my mind, but I instantly dismissed it because I didn't want to think about that.
That's a legendary spot.
What a himbo. Is Claudio the biggest himbo in wrestling?
What's a himbo?
It's like a bimbo, but it's a guy.
No. I only think he gets that rap because of the accent. You know what I mean? Like, I really think that, he's a pretty intelligent guy.
He's like the strongest too.
Yeah, but he jumped and knocked his own teeth out on the post.
Not purposely.
Yeah, but I mean, it was purposely because the only one he had to blame was himself.
Well, right. It's in the moment.
And I would say the bigger himbo would be Titus O'Neil and the slide at the greatest Rumble ever.
Oh my God, that was the funniest shit of my whole life, dude.
Greatest.
So you think that was a work? That was all planned to do? You think he was coming out there with the intention to slide? Right
He was going to memify himself?
Yeah.
Nah.
You don't think so?
The only reason I don't think that, at first I thought it because I know that Vince McMahon adores when like follies happen and people fall and slip.
Little bloopers, like legitimate bloopers.
Times they replayed that throughout the match.
The natural reaction of the commentator was the funniest part.
Right,
like
they couldn't hold it.
Michael Cole couldn't contain himself.
Yeah. But I remember when that first happened, someone showed how close he came to sliding into a bar.
Right. Yeah, he could have been murdered.
He was so close to braiding himself with the velocity of how he slid. There's no way he could have.
There's too close for it to be a. I mean, maybe it was they did that on purpose to make it. They knew where it was going to be, so they made it that close.
Worldwide.
It was one of the funniest moments ever.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It was a great moment in wrestling history.
Holy shit!
Well, speaking of historical wrestling moments, history of wrestling, today we are in the second hour going to go thoroughly over with a fine-tooth comb the 2022 Wrestler Observer Awards.
Oh, Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave came out with his. Well, he didn't.
Observer is just fan. It's fan generated.
It's fan voted. Yes, it's
fan
not.
voted.
Okay.
It's not voted. It's not chosen by the Meltzer.
But I just say Uncle Dave because it's his. Whenever I hear Observer, I think of him and Brian Alvarez, Brian Blvd. I know it's not his picks, but they're the cult of Meltzer. Just as there's a cult of Cornette, there's a cult of Meltzer. Go to him as the gospel and go to that as the news.
100%.
So.
Yes, very true.
I kind of associate the Wrestling Observer with just that man, that figure.
Right, he's the face of the Observer. He is the Observer. He's hiding in the bushes watching the wrestling that you don't think he's watching.
Mm-hmm. Similarly to how Mike Johnson is the PW Insider. To me, Mike Johnson, PWI Mike, he used to come to the Psycho Circus every year. He stopped, but he was one of those ECW fans next to the Diesel guy and Vladimir. He was the short, not the ponytail ECW fan, but he was with that collective that was always kind of visible on the hard cam.
Mike Johnson, I don't know what he looks like. I didn't know what he looked like. And he was at an outlaw wrestling show in the Great South Bay. And it was right after Every Time I Die's new album came out. So I was having them bring me out to one of those awesome songs off that album.
Right.
And so somebody was like, "Oh, hey, Pat, this is Mike Johnson from PW." And I didn't even know Mike Johnson. Okay, cool. My name's Joe Smith. What's up? How are you? Nice to meet you, dude. Like, I didn't understand the levity or like the gravity of the situation,
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What's up, Mike? Nice to meet you. You ever hear this song, Mike? You ever hear this song?" And then it's like, do 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 do, and I started going like, "Check it out, Mike." And I swear to God, I'm like, the show's over, and I'm right behind the curtain, and I'm like two-stepping, and it was at a brewery, so it was like really that slick, really hard concrete, like the hardest concrete.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
And I slipped on like a piece of beer that I most likely spilled.
A piece of it.
and fell right on my face. Flopped right on my face. So
Right in front of Mike.
Hey, this is Mike Johnson. Hey, Mike, you like this song, Mike? What's up? And
way to make a first impression, Pat.
and then I got up and there was like an extension cord, and I got up and I immediately blamed the extension cord. And I was like, who put this? Can we get some gaff tape? Can somebody tape this cord down? Unsafe working environment.
It's an OSHA violation.
Yeah, fucking somebody call OSHA. So that was my one and only time meeting Mike Johnson.
Way to own that moment. I can think of times that I've been in kind of embarrassing situations upon first meeting someone, and then kind of turning it around by like making a joke of myself or making a joke of what just happened, and then they never forget you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny telling this story to you. I find it highly entertaining, but at the time, Giuseppe came over to me. He was like, "That was Mike Johnson from the PW Insider," and you just
feel like shit about
and I was like, "Oh no!"
Real quick, let me shout out Giuseppe Giancarlo Genovese.
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. The last time that I did an MMA show, it was at the Melrose Ballroom. And then the next day I had to go do something. I think it was H2O or something. And I had no place to stay. And when I put the footage of the fights happening at Melrose, he hit me up. And he was like, I'm like 5 minutes away. And I'm like, wow, well, I'm trying to find a place to stay tonight. And he opened up his door and let me crash on the couch that night. So since we bring him up, I love his style. I love his horror movie fandom. And, shout out to him, because one of these times when Larry Legend was on the road, a twofer, you know what that's like, Pat. You've done a couple, he lodged me. So shout out Giuseppe.
He's a great guy. And, I want to say what I'm thinking about Giuseppe without being an asshole. Right. And it's not that I have anything bad to say about him. Actually, what I have to say about Giuseppe are all good things. Like, Giuseppe is like a normal human being. He like went to college, graduated college.
He has a very good job.
He's a public school teacher of the children, I think.
Yeah, it's a very good job.
Unless he's just the custodian and he's been lying to all of us.
He's probably a good job secretary.
But he's got like a good job. He's a really smart, well-spoken guy, right? And it's just fucking wrestling, because this guy is like mad smart and has like a lot of good ideas. And anytime like I've been around him and he's like trying to talk to, the promoter or whatever about his good ideas, they're just like, the promoter walks away. It's like, oh, that guy's so annoying. It's like Giuseppe's smarter.
There are a couple figures that get that rep. Pete Rosato.
He's smarter than all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like real Brainiacs. A lot of these guys that like. Everyone's like, that guy, Meanwhile, we've got to deal with other types that are like just walking doofuses,
right?
And it's like they're the ones that are, revered and get to call us all together.
So I feel, because like one day he drove me to a show, or a few times he's like picked me up along the way, and we've had conversations, just the two of us, like no wrestlers around, like no referee shirt.
Two of us.
We can make it if we try.
I'm just imagining you guys going to Long Island just
singing that song.
The sun, sun.
Well, I will say, actually, but anyway, we've had a lot of conversations. He's an intelligent guy. And when I learned about him, I was like, wow, this is like such bullshit. Like in the wrestling space, Giuseppe's like a joke, but like in real life, like he's like a smart guy, like I will say this. He didn't have the best musical selection in his car. Like he listened to like things you would play on a karaoke jukebox. Like he was like, oh, this song's awesome. I don't practice Santeria. I've heard this song before, Giuseppe. Like, okay. Is this really a song?
Can I ask you? Because who is Giuseppe?
That's Handsome Ref.
Sideburns ref.
Oh, Sideburns. Okay.
Sideburns.
Right. I got you.
A portlier fellow.
Yes.
He can move that ass.
And I will say one more thing that I haven't had my license in like 2 years. You know, I had a ticket that wasn't paid, and you know, I've just accepted the train and the bus, right? So I already, because I've been driving my whole life, I am not good at sitting in the passenger seat of a car. Like, I don't know what it is.
Driver, or you get scared as
It's
fuck?
not. I'm a backseat anxious guy. You know, like it's just.
You grab. You're a grabber.
Yeah, like I'll go up to the side handle. You know, and it's not.
Yeah, I know those people.
It's not because the person I'm with is a bad driver. It's just because like the momentum is different or something, and I'm like freaked out. I feel like we're going like.
You're not in control. You're not in control at all. They're control. Can be very sexual. And I speak from experience. You know, at being driven by someone and just being like, "Wow, kill me right now."
Just
like,
because,
you know, and like, you know,
Larry, just because you get turned on by getting a ride somewhere doesn't mean that that's sexual.
I understand what Larry's saying. I understand what Larry's saying. When you're a passenger in someone's car, you're basically giving someone your life.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't recommend doing it with Giuseppe. You know, it's like we're on the side streets in Brooklyn going 80 miles an hour, and all I see ahead is brake lights. I'm like, dude, and like when you get the handle, that's like level 1 anxiety. But then like when you lift your butt up a little bit, that's like, oh,
you go towards it. You're like towards it. You're like going towards it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're driving like a fucking maniac. He's like, hey, fuck you, buddy. He's like one of these. And I was just like, dude.
I hate people that have like road rage and yell at people when they're driving.
Yeah, fucking, what are you gonna do? You know, merge or don't merge. It's like, yo, just slow down. You're in a car.
Very calm. Yeah, you gotta be calm.
I've been a screamer.
You're a screamer, Larry?
Well, only when I hit Brooklyn. Because all the way up, the turnpike is pretty much smooth sailing. But if I have to like get off first in Brooklyn, it's usually where I experience a lot of gridlock as I'm getting closer to the show.
You don't do well in gridlock.
See, gridlock shouldn't even bother you
because not when we're moving for hours. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? What happened?
Yeah, but like traffic is out of your hands. Like if you're sitting on the Kosciuszko Bridge in traffic, it's like whatever, dude. You know what? Listen, control the music, control the temperature. You know, smoke your cigs. When you're on the train, you got some motherfucker next to you cutting their toenails.
Indeed.
Dude, I'll be driving sometimes with Amanda, and she'll have like road rage for me.
Oh, she's like a backseat road rager.
Oh my god! And I'll just have to like, I can't even tell her to calm. You can't tell anyone to calm down. You know what I mean? But
when me and Cass, quick side note, when me and Cass finally broke up, Larry. It was after Tremont got burned alive by Oneida.
I know the whole story. Come on.
Well, I just want to let everybody at home know that
my boys.
On the way home,
real life boys.
On the way home, I was screaming at Cass years.
Oh, I heard.
Years of frustration just coming
while
out.
I'm driving. This is all while I'm
at
driving.
the top of my lungs. Just years and years.
You're a loud motherfucker like me.
Oh,
so
dude.
That must have been earth-shattering inside that vehicle. Like, I'm glad I wasn't there.
And Brian
steered
the ship. He steered the ship steadily. And I never thanked you for that, but thank you for just like staying in the zone.
Thank you for keeping them alive on Halloween night, on All Saints Day.
It was very sexy.
Before it all started, I remember I was going the wrong way for like at least like 20 to 30 minutes.
What a night. Last night I saw Marcus. Last night a lot of us saw Marcus.
Saw him where?
Alive.
Oh, that's the last night that a lot of us saw Marcus alive. Yes, I agree. That's
I got around him.
I got to hang out with Mark. That was the
like a
time
lot
I got
of
to hang
East
out
Coast,
with
East Coast people. That was a lot of our last time to see him and be around him.
That's a good point. I haven't thought about that. Yeah,
we would learn. Well, I always think about that. That's whenever we lose someone like Jay Briscoe, the last person that we lost in the community, I always immediately go to, when was the last time I hugged that person? When was the last time I dapped them up? You know, and I'll never forget, as great as that Halloween was, and it was great. I wrestled in a battle royal.
Dude, you came out, bro. That was fucking lit.
It was amazing, and that was by accident. I wasn't scheduled to do that. But, it's Halloween night. Onita's here. I'm very much still associated with Blackout. That's the reason I'm in the Hall of Fame. They were there when I went in. I was like, this is great. But it always has that sort of like, wow, that's the last time I got to show with the bro.
Yo, that was such a cool night because the backstage was like underneath the rafters of the baseball stadium.
Oh, it was legendary.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Legendary.
I know it was a small, what was it, like the Newton Tides or something, the Trenton Tides.
The Trenton Thunder.
It was like a minor league baseball stadium.
Yeah, but the Trenton Thunder.
Still huge, man.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, they were like a single A Trenton Thunder baseball team. But just even walking, it's like, to get to load in, you have to like walk through the outfield.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's minor league, but man, this is like some very evenly mowed grass.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah, and it was so
man.
awesome. But you know what? You never realize how small a wrestling ring is going to look until you put it in a baseball field. It
was tiny. But dude, I have the DVD of it, and it looks really good on camera. It looks cool as fuck.
Hey, can I ask you something about the DVD? Is that just the stream from IWTV that night?
It's got to be edited. It's definitely edited.
Because I got 2 eliminations in that battle royal. I technically eliminated Casanova Valentine and Neil Diamond Cutter right before old Chainsaw came out. I Leatherface bastard. I got 2 eliminations in that battle royal, but IWTV didn't get it. Only got the cast, and that was a group.
It's on the everything on that from that show is on the DVD.
Don't lie to the man.
I know. I don't. The only thing I don't remember if they kept the MLJ heckling.
Oh boy.
Oh, that was. Oh my god.
We had a few drinks.
I should have known it was y'all. I should have known it was y'all, but really, Brian.
No, actually, it wasn't Brian this time.
I started it. I started.
Well, that's what it is.
I amped Pat up.
Yeah, you got me started, and then I was like, you know what, Brian?
Pat's inner demon.
This is a good idea. This is fun. We should make fun of MLJ.
That right there is a prime example of why I'm saying if you were yelling at the top of your lungs inside of a car in someone's ear,
he warmed them up during that show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you had enough power in your voice to stop the ring announcer dead sentence
in the middle of an open air baseball stadium.
You weren't even in the park. You were in the fucking concourse.
Yeah. Yo, these pipes.
Yeah, it's like
you don't know.
I can only imagine what it sounded like when you popped your top in that car.
Dude, I definitely have done a show where like I've met the ring announcer for the first time and been like, okay, hey, I just want to let you know I get kind of loud. Like I basically just scream.
You warn him. You got me. That's proper etiquette.
And then the guy's like, yeah, okay, cool. Like let's check the mic. Get in the ring and we'll check the mic. And I was like, okay, but I'm gonna be loud. And it's like people are just wheeling their suitcases and nobody's there. And I just grab the mic and I'm like, welcome. And the guy's like, whoa. Everybody, it's like the record skip. They're like, why would you sound check like that? Why would you scream as loud as you could? It's like, oh fuck, like I thought that like we were trying to get the levels,
I mean, to your defense, if you ever go to a metal show and they ask a fucking vocalist to do a check, he fucking
dude, that's exactly what I have in my mind. The only thing I have knowledge of before wrestling is heavy metal shows.
When they do when they test the sound for the drums, they tell you to hit the drums like you're going to be hitting the drums during the show, and you got to hit that shit as hard as you fucking can.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm going to tell you, Pat, just a little bit of tutelage from Lar.
Oh, please.
You don't do that at NYWC. You do that like at the Beacon Theater or like the Barclays Center. That's the sound check where you really let it rip. Like, because I've done places like the Nokia Theater in Times Square for Peter Rosenberg and Madison Square Garden itself. And both of those places, the sound guy was like, let me see as loud as you can go. I want to hear the top of the top. Because
that's what a real sound guy would do.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Like where a karaoke guy who's playing wrestling entrance music is just going to... Whoa, dude, what? Too loud. You're going to blow my PA speakers. You're going to blow my one PA speaker.
Too loud?
Brother.
But that was a very embarrassing experience. That actually was an experience that was much more embarrassing than the Mike Johnson Every Time I Die spill.
I feel like the sound guy should be embarrassed, not you.
No,
He's trying to embarrass you
he
because
wasn't.
he's embarrassed.
He turned
for
everyone
not
against
knowing his
me.
job.
He like looked at me and was like, no.
He manipulated the
Right, and then
situation.
everyone else was like, yeah, how dare this guy?
Yeah, the last time ICW was in Boston, the sound guy made sure that I did that, and I just gave him like where I was going to be for the intro, and then after he did that, then I just did regular talking, and then I did like what it was going to sound like when I said main event, which is really kind of like
the crescendo,
like most grandiose.
Right.
He was just thumbs up and everything. I just gave him 1, 2, 3. How loud I'm going to be at the intro when I'm just plugging shit in the middle, and this is the announcer voice, and
it's pretty dope. Speaking of announcer voice, actually, before we get going, dude, I got a new chatter here. Looks like they're from someplace with different alphabet, and they go, Larry. Oh gosh.
Should we do
a
this?
CZW fan from the Czech Republic. CZW is huge in like pockets of Germany and like the Czech Republic and all over Eastern Europe. They love them some CZW deathmatch wrestling. I remember at one point, and I never really got too close with DJ Hyde and all of those about things, but a very large part of the market share of watching CZW came from like Europe and like
that's interesting.
I just remember Germany and Czech Republic had a large.
Larry, question:
yes.
Do you know who's like buying the ICW pay-per-views? Like watching them is that like also?
Oh, I know who they are. I know every single individual.
No, I'm saying there's got to be a market. There's got to be people in other countries that love the chains. You know what I mean?
I will tell you this. It's the most watched thing on there. Like it's the number one.
ICW is number one on IWT.
Those shows are by far more watches for that than anything on IWTV.
It's so interesting
because there's got to be some kind of he must know, like there's got to be a demographic of like who's buying from where, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's so interesting to me too, because like how many deathmatch things are actually on IWTV? Probably of a small few.
H2O is on there.
Right, but
H2O, yeah.
But
CZW?
IW
has its own thing.
CZW's library. A lot of CZW has popped up on IWTV now. You can get like backlog
right?
shit. Yeah.
But it's just strange to me because an IWTV value, I picture a non-deathmatch independent wrestling fan getting more value out of IWTV than a deathmatch wrestling fan.
There's a lot of non-deathmatch.
So it'd be interesting to see, like, I wonder what the numbers for the other things are. Like, could you surmise that maybe IWTV is a secret deathmatch subscription service where actually all the H2O and all the H2O fans and all the ICW fans just like kind of make it go and check out other things along the way?
It's interesting because if it's the number one thing watched on there and there's non-deathmatch things on there, that means it's mostly deathmatch motherfuckers watching IWTV.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. And now Cass has got his stuff on there, right?
Yes,
Cass's
stuff is on there. I don't know anything about anyone else's numbers, because I'm just kind of adjacent to H2O. I guess I'm Cass's guy.
I just feel like whatever show you go to, Larry, whether it's ICW, H2O, New Fear City, you're going to get there and they're going to say, we're the most watched on IWTV.
Yeah, that's why you're here, Larry.
We're the most watched.
Statistic, though, like on IWTV, there has to be a number one most viewed thing. You know what I mean? It has to be a known.
I believe that the Beyond, any Beyond stuff also does very well.
When I think of IWTV, I think of Beyond, actually.
That's non-death. That's pure wrestling, right? That's like more Ring of Honor kind of shit.
Yeah, they'll sprinkle in a hardcore or something.
Weekly, they did the Uncharted Territory season, the seasons of Uncharted Territory, and now they're doing, I believe it's called the Wrestling Open.
Monday Nitro Party. It's a party. Hell yeah, Monday Nitro. It is a party. Light it if you got it. What's up?
Yeah.
John Manning, Larry, GOAT ring announcer. You're goddamn right. One of the most watched.
Shout out, John.
Can we shout out the super chat?
Shout out Josh. That's
the highest super chat of the night.
Yes,
Get the
let
giveaway.
me give you a lead in here.
Plug it,
First
yeah,
of all, I just want to say
plug it,
thank
plug it.
you for everybody for 17.5 thousand Instagram followers this month.
Wow.
Well, not this month, but all told. But we went up like 4,000 this month. So what we're going to do is every month, every 1,000, we're going to do a special giveaway on Blvd Bullies Instagram. This month, Ringside Sean, God bless his teeth and his mouth.
Yeah, God bless his feet.
Yeah, and his feet too.
And his feet.
In those Chelsea boots. So
In the Chelsea boots and the Jordans.
And
all
the Jordans.
flavors of Jordans.
So basically, long story short,
Cares
if you
about his
follow on Instagram, we're doing a very simple PWJ Blvd Bullies collab, like thank you for 17,000 followers giveaway. You know, it's like follow, like, comment, and tag two people. One of these fucking hype beast type bullshit things. So make sure you go follow Blvd Bullies on Instagram. Also, follow Blvd Bullies on Twitch, because every Wednesday, 8 o'clock during AEW Dynamite, I do a toxic tweet along where we watch the show and we read all the tweets from all the incels out there and all the bots.
Yeah,
Very
we
fun,
love
very
toxic.
Yes, and we love Twitter.
Tears
So-
were toxic.
And as mentioned before, every week on this show, 7 p.m., we do a super chat giveaway. Basically, if you want to redirect the conversation, give us a little Q&A, a little cheeky tip, you just hit that super chat, which is somewhere in the window, and the highest super chat gets, with free shipping, the gift of the day. And today, Brian, break it down for us. What's the gift of the day?
Larry was actually here. Larry, if you watch closely, if you buy this, if you win this and watch it closely, you might see Larry himself in the audience.
Even better. When we start cheering, you are guaranteed to hear my voice. Guaranteed. I wasn't silent.
Because
I wasn't being quiet there that evening.
Larry, do you remember the year?
2005.
Yes.
Because much
100%.
like myself, who can disrupt the show in an open-air
It's
baseball
sealed.
stadium.
This is a sealed DVD as well.
Oh, you're giving away the sealed one.
Yeah, I'm giving it away. I don't give a fuck.
So interestingly
I have-
enough, that was around the time that I was like, okay, I can't just keep watching this. I can't. That was around the time that I was like, I'm getting in there. I left Maryland wrestling around that time and started doing CZW and other stuff.
Oh, so you were already in the game, though. It's not like you watched SummerSlam 2005 and said, I got to get in the game.
That's all. That's like some Howard Stern. You quit your shit to do some better shit.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that was the last time I was like, I'm spending money to watch this. Like the WWE in particular. I'm like, now it's time for me to start getting on a path to making money from WWE in some capacity, because I've spent so much money. My best friend Craig, we went to that and WrestleMania 2000, or what am I saying? WrestleMania 20 in the Garden. I guess the year before.
I think Brian was also there.
I was at 20 at the Garden.
Yeah.
My one and only Mania.
And over the years, we had been spending a lot of money on this shit. And I'm like, you know what?
I'm still
That's
spending
it.
money. I've been spending money on it since I'm 8 years old.
Yo, the Shawn Michaels Hulk Hogan match from that DVD that is our super chat giveaway this week.
Should we run down the card? Because I'm looking at the card and it's fucking kind of legendary.
Read me the back of this DVD, Brian. Read me the back of the DVD.
Dude, it's fucking the main event is Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan. You got the WWE Championship, John Cena versus Chris Jericho. No holds barred match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Batista versus JBL. Matt Hardy versus Edge. Fucking Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero in the ladder match for Dom, fucking custody of ex-con Dom. U.S. Championship, Orlando Jordan versus Chris Benoit.
Yep.
Eugene versus Kurt Angle. Dude, that's fucking legendary.
You would like Eugene Bryan, you insensitive fuck.
One of the best characters ever.
All right, so this is
He was great at first. I don't remember what fucked him, but at first he was fucking
He was like
legendary.
Eric Bischoff's like
He was a savant.
hearted cousin.
Yeah, was savant. He was a savant. Like, don't call him that. He was a fucking real life. Like,
No, he was. He was amazing. He was amazing, dude. He was so fun to watch. Like anytime he came out, it was fun.
yeah, because you're a bad person.
No, I mean, there's a bunch of bad people in the world. because
Yeah, the
people
ones who like the Eugene fans. Yeah.
bad people agree with Bad Take Brian sometimes.
So I've been thinking about this. Before we brought up SummerSlam 2005, I was thinking about this because today on the Instagram I posted, I'm sure you guys have both seen the clip and everyone in the chat, when I guess it's like a dark match on Raw or something, and Triple H comes off the middle rope and he takes like a boot to the chin.
And he stands there.
And he stands there for like 2 minutes.
The oversell.
Yeah, like because Ric Flair's in the tag match as well, so he's doing like an exaggerated Flair. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And you know, I haven't watched it in a few years. I watched it today, and it brought a smile to my face today. Even Shawn Michaels, like he's like blowing at him, like it's so good. And then he like comes to.
Yeah.
And then he goes to make the tag. Ric Flair flops. So incredible. And then
so incredible, bro.
So that got me thinking of like, what are some of like the best oversells in history? And then you brought that up with the Shawn Michaels.
This whole match is as a
Isn't
known
the
Shawn
backstory
Michaels.
that Shawn Michaels was like mad at Hogan?
He did it as a joke. It was like he was tight. He did it as a joke.
And well, you know what
It was
the story is?
What's the word?
They agreed to do business, with the business being Hogan wins one, HBK wins one.
Oh, this sounds like
Right.
classic Hogan already.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right before Hogan wins one. Oh, brother, my back, brother. Okay, we're gonna just do this, and I gotta go. Gotta go for a while. I gotta get back. And Sean's like, what? Like, he's like, okay, we're gonna go play.
Yo, you know what's so crazy? First of all, kudos to Shawn Michaels for being so pissed that he's like, I'll ruin this entire WrestleMania. I don't give a fuck.
He's the star. He made himself the star of that. It's so funny to watch.
And you know what's
man.
crazy? It's funny that you bring that up, Larry, because A&E is doing the biography stuff for WWE again. And this past Sunday it was NWO, and they're talking about, this is the first time it's been said, because these are all puff pieces, you know.
Yeah.
But like
they're not. Yeah, we know the real story.
Yeah, like nobody says
I'm
anything.
excited for the China one, man.
And nobody says anything bad about anybody in these, But it's the first time they said, it's like, we built the NWO versus Sting for a year. And they actually finally opened the door and showed you like, oh yeah, Sting was supposed to win. Hogan showed up that day and it was like, I don't think it's time yet. And like there was something in there about like Sting's tan. Like Sting didn't get a deep enough tan, so that made Hogan like question his ability to care and carry the company or some shit. So they actually flip-flopped it the day of. And because Sting, he's not like a passionate wrestling guy. Sting's like a guy doing his job, So Hogan comes in and pulls the shit, and Sting's like, "Oh, okay, whatever, I'm still getting paid." Yeah. Like, can you imagine if that was like Bret Hart? Like, Bret Hart would have slit Hulk Hogan's throat, dude. They did a year of Sting not even wrestling or talking, And Sting's finally going to vanquish Hogan. And Hogan's like, nah, And they're like, and everybody in the back. And they said this on the doc, too. Everyone in the back is like, Hogan, nah, like, I think we're going to do the Sting finish.
Well, look at WrestleMania 9. Brett loses the belt to Yoko. What's the next step logically for Brett?
Dude,
I'm going to get my fucking belt back. Oh, no, you're not.
I feel so bad.
No, you're not, dude. Because now it's Hogan.
WrestleMania.
And nobody wants to see Hogan versus Brett, right?
WrestleMania 9 makes me feel so bad because when I was a kid and Hogan came out to win, I was really excited. I was like so hyped. And like I didn't understand that like Bret Hart.
Because you're a fucking kid, bro.
Yeah.
I was flipping out. I was jumping up and down, clapping my hands so hard that they were hurting.
Yeah,
I will never forget when Hogan came out and beat Yoko because I didn't think anyone in the world would be able to beat this guy.
Yo, and you know what's so funny?
There's nobody. I was like, Andre the Giant is the only person who could probably beat this guy and he's dead.
You know what's so funny about that too is that Hogan came out and won in like 90 seconds.
Yeah, he wasn't even in regular. He wasn't even.
He just gave him the boot, the leg drop, and pinned him.
Dude, I screamed. Lethal. I jumped up and down. I remember my uncle was like asleep down in the basement with me, like, and he was like woke up, like, what the fuck, yo? I'm like,
dude, and it's like, can you imagine if that happened like today? Like the way that we look at wrestling now, if that happened now, I would be like, reacting with the same energy, but in a negative way. I'd be like, this is bullshit. Dude, you know, that's literally like fucking Eugene coming out and winning the belt from Kenny Omega right after
There's
he
quick
went through.
wins sometimes.
No.
Quick
What
wins.
I think would be a more appropriate take is if Daniel Bryan wins the belt off MJF, and then like Mussolini
or Jericho.
And then Punk. They worked it out with Punk.
Oh
Big
my
squash,
gosh! You just gave me
Tony's getting his money.
Oh man,
And Punk comes out. Yeah, go to sleep.
you
Just
see,
beats
but
Matt,
like if it's so funny because if Punk and AEW starts acting like Hulk Hogan and WCW, that would make me hyped. I'd be like, yeah, fuck them. Let's go, dude. Get your win.
Are we going to talk about this MJF Bryan Danielson? Because I kind of feel like Bryan Danielson has a chance of winning.
I agree.
Let me.
I feel like him having the belt is kind of best for business.
Oh man,
More than MJF.
I think I don't know who's gonna win, but I'll tell you this: that MJF is going to avoid contact for the first 15 minutes of that match, and he's gonna think that he's doing the most revolutionary shit you've ever seen, and the fans watching it are gonna convince themselves it's like food that tastes bad, but it's fancy food, so you tell yourself it's good. MJF is going to avoid Bryan Danielson for at least the first 10 minutes of that Iron Man match, and people are going to chant "this is awesome" in complete silence, and everyone's going to think it's great, and everyone's going to think MJF is the man, and just like Hogan at WrestleMania 9, we're going to look back at this in a few years and be like, MJF, that's bullshit. You know, to charge $60 for a pay-per-view that the main event, the guy avoids contact. I'm telling you, that's going to be the story of the match.
So you think he's going to do that and win? You think he's going to win?
I don't know who's going to win, but I'm going to tell you right now, the story of the match is going to be MJF avoiding wrestling with Bryan Danielson, and it's going to go on longer than it should. It's going to go on for like
0-0 the whole time.
35 minutes. Is going to be
But Pat, how? How is he going to avoid him? Like, Bryan Danielson would chase him.
Dude, for the first 5 minutes, it's going to be roll in, roll out, up and around. Dude, he's going to do every chicken shit heel thing in the book. Literally right now, MJF is sitting at home, sad about his fiance, which, by the way, fuck him, because he went into business for himself. That whole thing about, like, I'm going to take a fistful of pills, that was so selfish and so stupid. And MJF is not ready. He is not ready. I'm just saying.
Hear me out. I think they have themselves perfectly set up to turn him into a big, huge face.
Oh, God, give me a break.
Dude,
Yo,
if he has
tried it.
If he has a war with Daniel Bryan,
they dip their toes.
Loses.
He dipped his toe into the face, and no, dude, MJF is on thin ice.
They've been dipping MJF toes into the face for a while, and I think this is the perfect time to pull the trigger, because he can go to war with fucking Bryan Danielson, lose, but have the fucking classic fucking Iron Man match.
No, because they gave him the title too early. Okay, so now he's fucked. Like MJF is a
shitty run.
Okay, I mean, I don't know either way. Larry, I want to get your take on it. You've been very close with MJF. Me and you were basically hanging out by the time MJF exploded on the scene. We were at a match one night where MJF played Guess Who in the ring with CPA. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Max has always gone out of his way to acknowledge me in any walk of life. I even, did a convention. And, that meant that I was walking around with the mic, and he, called me over because he wanted to cut a promo to get more people over to his booth, and I kind of did the whole Mean Gene with him right there. I think he's doing really, really well at the talking. I think he's bringing some heat on the microphone consistently. And I think that's really where his bread is going to be buttered. He's going to be able to talk people in to whatever he's doing.
What do you think about the promo last week where he said that he basically, he shot, brother, watch out, pew pew. I had a fiance and she left me. And basically it was a very, in my opinion, It was a very weak and ill-fated attempt at a tie-in. Like, basically, he needed to get some shit off his chest. He needed to send a message, just like any weirdo leaving voicemails on his ex-girlfriend's phone that he's going to kill himself. He did it on TV with her and then just tied it in with, like, what the belt means because the belt means.
But he's saying that he's basically has that belt and
Nope.
The only thing keeping him alive is the belt, so he's gonna do anything in the match to keep the belt.
He's an idiot. Anyway, Larry, what do you think about this thing? Do you think that my take? I'm looking for somebody to galvanize my take that MJF went too emotional, went too vulnerable, and brought his personal life in it and made a mistake last week. Anybody in the chat, anyone at home, I need the legendary one to confirm this, please.
So this is all I can say. This is my take on it. I think that Max screams too much when he doesn't need to. The screaming really makes it kind of sound immature. Like, you know?
Well, they think they're Mick Foley, the loud and quiet.
Well, that kind of took me out of it. I didn't know the backstory of the fiance. I didn't know that he had gotten, he broke up with her. I didn't even know he was engaged. Because
Right.
I don't get into all that.
Right.
But I felt that what I was seeing was like must see. And I really was like looking at American Dragon's face. Like I really wanted to see like the real element of this fake thing. And when I was a backyard wrestler,
What was your backyard wrestling name?
Dirty South Larry Mercer.
Yes, Larry Mercer, dude.
Dirty South.
Dirty
That just
Dirty
made me
South
hype.
Larry Mercer.
No,
Not
I wish you
a scene in the Hall of Fame, but
We'll get a new plaque.
we used to always spring on one another like little tidbits of reality of like ways that we were feeling about each other, whether it be in like high school.
It's very
or-
unhealthy. In my opinion, that's very, very unhealthy behavior.
It was, but the matches that came from that were always the bangers that we watched over and
I don't
over
know.
again.
I think you're right, but there's also a line. Like, Brian, in that DVD, can you hold up the Super Chat DVD again?
Super chat, dude.
Yeah.
People like controversy.
But
dude.
in that,
Dude, you're telling me that Paul Heyman can say that he wants to fuck fucking Cody Rhodes' wife, but MJF can't say he wants to kill himself? Fuck off.
so
adrenaline
is that what he said?
in
Pat?
my
I mean,
soul.
screaming
Something,
much.
so many words, in so many words.
Brandy Rhodes.
In so many words, he said he wanted to kill himself because he's
Okay, so wait, are you talking about MJF or Paul Heyman?
MJF.
Okay, so MJF. Okay, so I am one of the rare few who gets to be friends with the real Max on Facebook. So I saw this engagement, and I was very happy for him. And so, wait, by the way, side note, and we got to talk about this too, Larry. Larry Legend was the ring announcer of the Psycho Circus this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And
Let's talk
this
about
time, well, I don't want to change. I want to stay on MJF. This time
Okay.
last year, I was the host of the Psycho Circus.
Facts,
and who
facts.
was in the building as a fan?
The boy.
But the Maxwell himself. And I got to tell you, because me and Max have a history too. I saw him backstage and I'm like, oh, hey. And he goes, hey, you're doing great. He was like the nicest guy. And he goes, what happened to the other guy? What happened to Steve?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I told him a brief, because it was in between matches, like behind the curtain. So I told him a very brief story. I was like, Steve didn't want to be friends with me anymore. I didn't like dump my shit into his lap. I was like,
Right.
Steve didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't want to be friends with me anymore. And Max, I swear to God, he put his hand on my shoulder. He goes, I'm so sorry that happened. You guys are one of my favorites. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. And then later on in that evening, I was announcing a Willow Nightingale match, and Max was standing there with the hood. And he gave me like a thumbs up, like a wink, because I was screaming as loud as I could into the microphone.
He is a
Fourth
really
wall-
good
fourth wall
person.
wink.
He's a really good person.
He's a nice
That same
person.
Type,
He's a Jew. He's a
exactly
Jew.
what
That's
we
why.
did. This whole thing about Max always encourages. When I came back to CZW, in 2018, which, side note, sealed the deal for me with being with GCW. That was kind of like the final nail in my coffin for being shown the door there. But I remember I came out, everybody, Larry. Max cuts me off with the other mic in the back. He's like, all right, I know, everybody loves Larry. And then went into his promo. And just that little thing, like, actually gets me even more over.
That's awesome.
So it's like he's a good guy. Like, he's always been a good guy. I didn't know he said he was thinking of killing himself.
Oh, okay. So well,
he did say it.
Just to finish up my story from last year, then Bear Bronson was there.
Yeah.
The black-haired of the Bronsons. The smaller.
Yeah, I know him.
He was there, and he's like Max's best friend.
I think on AEW.
And you know what's so funny? I probably met him once. He was very nice to me. He was like, "Hey, this guy." So we shared a beer at intermission, and he goes, "Hey, what would be really funny if you announce that Max is here?" Because he's standing there with his hood up, like he doesn't want anybody to notice him, but he obviously does. So I was like, you know what, Mr. Bronson, that's a good idea. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, if you see a man with his hood up,
oh God,
please note that Maxwell Jacob Friedman is in the building and he is taking photos and signing autographs.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did it. I followed the bad advice of one of the Bronson brothers.
Oh my gosh, he wanted to rib Max.
Yeah, we ribbed him. It was a rib.
He wanted to rib him. He wanted to give him a good fucking butt fucking.
So Brian, can you describe this Maxwell Jacobs suicide promo to us from last Wednesday?
Tell me about it, Brian.
I mean, basically, he was going into how the title means so much to him that it's the only thing keeping him from taking a fistful of pills, which means stopping him from killing himself.
Fistful of pills.
So he was saying, I'm so fucked up in life.
Well, right. he goes,
because of this other shit that's really going on.
This title is
means so much to me. I'll kill you. I'll kill you for this belt.
I like it's the only thing stopping me from killing myself.
Well, that's
riveting.
It's
riveting. You think that was a weak choice? You think that was a weak choice?
I think it was a bad choice.
I think it's an important choice of words because people fucking feel that way about certain things.
I think that his personal So,
you know what? He's gonna lose. You know what? He's gonna have a war with fucking Bryan Danielson lose the belt.
I don't think
not kill himself and come back better and stronger than ever. Okay. And people are gonna love the boy.
I literally feel like every bullet point of what you just said, the exact opposite of those things are gonna happen.
Okay.
But
he's gonna kill himself.
Well, here's honestly what I think. Because before I wasn't being honest, so now I'm being really honest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You gotta work on that. You're a liar. You're a goddamn liar.
But, I just think that, I'm probably 10 years older than Max, right? And even I grew up with all these wrestlers telling me on podcasts that the real money is when you turn yourself up to 11. And everybody, because of the Attitude Era, because in 2005 at SummerSlam, they made fucking Edge work with Matt Hardy or whatever the fuck.
Fucking Vince McMahon wrestled Stephanie McMahon in an I Quit match and won.
So, it's like everybody's been brainwashed that personal issues make whatever. And there is a certain degree of truth to that, right? However, I think that Max watches everything. He soaks everything up, and he's like, it's just in his blood, just like Hangman or any of these other guys. Like, oh, I got to be real. I got to be real. Sometimes it's not the best to be real. So all of a sudden, Max has, during the CM Punk stuff with William Regal, when he told those stories, he was doing the vulnerable Max, right? But this time around, he hasn't been doing vulnerable Max. He's making Danielson go through the gauntlet. He's running. He's literally sprinting up the aisleway. He's just kicking people in the balls. He's more evil and shitty than ever, right? So
he switched places with a girl to fucking make sure he didn't get in trouble.
Okay, see, now that story was also a little fringe. I wasn't sure about that.
I love that shit.
At the end of the day, at least, it was just a story about him being evil and in control. But now he comes out, he goes, Bryan Danielson, you believe with these people, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, oh, well, my fiance just broke up with me. She left me. Everyone I've ever loved has left me. The only thing that I can count on in this world is Triple B, which, by the way, is the name for his title, that hasn't gotten over.
What
you haven't seen. How many Triple B shirts have you seen? How many triple B signs or shirts or tweets have
Pat,
you
I
seen?
mean, I'm glad you enlightened me because I heard him say that and I was like, why did he call it that? Is it because he has the ring and the belt? And
So Triple B,
It's
the best belt.
I didn't
It's
follow that at
stupid.
all. I didn't know that's what he nicknamed the belt.
It's very, very
It's
dumb.
very stupid. That's the
Right.
stupidest part of
And
the
then,
whole thing.
and then he goes, and he said, and he got teary-eyed and he got all shaky and he was overacting like he tends to do. And I just couldn't help but think, like, man, this is basically a 26-year-old guy, probably on a few supplements that make his thinking a little crazy. And he's saying, just like he fucking proposed to a girl after 6 months, just like many, many wrestlers with their beautiful bodies and their amazing mic skills, they're weird about women. Okay? And I'm just saying, he had a fiance. That's a shoot. He posted it on Facebook, right? She broke up with him. That's a shoot. Sean Ross Sapp confirmed it. So could you imagine being this girl who just called off this engagement with this guy, and what is he doing? Just like any tiny dick motherfucker, he's using his power and his platform and his influence to like send like some kind of serious fucking gothic macabre message through the television. He's using
Not macabre.
no, he has a match with
It's not
Bryan
macabre.
Danielson. He has a
Dude,
match
I
with Bryan
think he's trying
Danielson,
to- I think
and he
he's trying to
chose to
stay-
talk about his fiance. That's all I'm saying.
I think he's trying to stay on the cusp of not being a heel
No,
or a face.
that's what he's telling himself that he's doing, and that's what everyone else is believing he's doing to justify his selfish actions.
But Pat, how could you think that such a good guy that we're talking about, that we both know knowledge has a knowledge
Love him,
that
all the love.
follows us, why would a person like that be such a dick? Like,
I don't think that he's a dick. I think that he is a
well,
lot
that's
like.
like real dick and shit to fucking.
Well, listen, listen. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's something that at 26 years old. Think about how out of control I am now. Think about me at 26 years old, 24 years old, right? Imagine
24,
if
you were still playing shows, right?
Right, and imagine if my band had blown up and I had been like, famous since I was 23, and then a girl broke up with me. What would I do? I'd make the whole show about it because, like, you're just an idiot, and you're emotional and you think that everything you're doing is like fucking William Shakespeare, and you don't understand business the same way you do when you're older.
You say that because you think Bray Wyatt sucks too, right?
Well, Bray Wyatt sucks in a completely different librarian type of way.
No, but dude, I don't want to switch very quickly, so I won't. But I'm saying I think they're just being creative and they're just trying to connect to the audience differently than other people are doing currently.
Cool, but you know what? It wasn't MJF's role at that moment to connect with the audience. His job is to disconnect with the audience. His job is to push them towards Bryan Danielson.
His job is to entertain.
Well,
his job is to engage. It needs to be engaging, compelling, riveting TV. And Pat, you can't say that shit was not fire. That's what I'm saying. I started off by saying Max is a great talker.
Okay.
And I don't give a fuck what the monologue is. You got to deliver it to the point that then when the brawl breaks out at the end, you're like, oh, I know he's throwing those shots for real.
Okay.
Because he wasn't expecting him to say that shit. That he's like, yo, what the fuck were you doing just now talking about taking a fistful of pills?
Well, yeah,
Dude,
but
I love Max, and I think he's doing great shit. Let me ask you this, Pat. Ask me. In a hypothetical world, if Max's dad died, all of a sudden, his dad just dropped dead, and he had to go out there and perform, and you didn't know he was going to bring this up, but he starts bringing up the fact that his dad just died, the most important thing for him now is to like honor him and like tie it all into the storyline. Would you still be like, that was a bad choice?
No, I wouldn't.
Lead that into
because that's
a wrestling storyline because your dad actually really died.
Well, but it's apples and oranges because, like, your dad dying and your fucking 6-month fiance, like one of those
for fucking 6 years.
No, but like
a love in his heart.
Like
you
could be very emotional and like expressive when your dad dies at any age, but like what he did the other night is so indicative of like a mid-20-year-old.
No,
that's the difference.
I feel Larry.
All right, listen.
I mean, I love the discussion. I love hearing Pat's take, but sometimes I'm like, Pat, you're just hating. I feel like, Max, you know, and like we don't talk to him often to be like, yo, pick his brain or shit. But like, again, he just has to engage.
Yeah.
They're gonna pick whoever they want to pick to cheer for, and they ain't gonna boo Daniel Bryan.
Yo, and you know what'll fucking happen, dude? You know, it'll be just by luck where it's like, hey, I am saying this stuff, but I'm saying it as a guy watching a TV show, not as like, you know, whatever. But then I'll like see Max 2 years from now and he'll be like, yo, I was gonna get you a job, but on that one show that you did with Larry,
you ran your mouth.
yeah,
right?
you had to
ran
run your mouth. Like somebody will have sent him a screen recording of it or something.
They're watching.
Yeah, they're watching.
He
They're
loves
watching.
it. Max loves it.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
He
it's just business. It's just opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's intentionally done for shit just like this, so we can like talk about this shit,
Right.
and, like be like, you know, whatever. But hey, we're in the second hour, right?
Yeah.
So what do we?
Yeah, you
keep
had a plan.
on
We had a
bullying, or
we had
like
a,
do we
we
stick
had
to
a
the agenda?
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, let me just remind everyone, thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs
Yeah.
up, comment, like, subscribe. Listen, I don't make the rules. Just do it to help us. The biggest super chat, if you have a question for Larry. Oh, and you know what? We did get a question that I want to ask you, Larry, in a second. Non-super chat, but it was interesting enough. So there is a loophole, but you get it. You want the DVD? Do you want the DVD? It's sealed. It smells like Shawn Michaels inside.
Yeah, it smells like Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels together.
You know, this question actually starts out, this is from our person with the different alphabet. This starts out like a good question, but now I'm like kind of lost in it. So
Let's hear it.
if it doesn't make any sense, just please disregard. Sorry for question, but few days ago, I watched Down with the Sickness 2017, which I was at, Larry.
You were there?
Oh, yeah. Relaying the law once again, prepare for war. And something be born in my mind arises. So this person had an idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Does
Like-
Alex Colon owe Danny Havoc his future in GCW? I think by that it means like, how much does, let's talk about like Danny Havoc helping Alex Colon.
Alex Colon has put in a lot of fucking dope work.
How
and,
much influence, Larry, do you?
I get what the person is saying, and I yes, that farewell match, solidified that Alex Colon was going to be a Death Warrior.
Well,
he was going to be a blood. He was going to be a blood fighter.
Danny Havoc must have handpicked him, right?
Yeah,
They were good friends.
yeah. I
They were
mean,
good, close
it's
friends.
funny because Joe Gacy and Danny and Alex Colon started at the same time, and they were a tag team. Years ago.
The Nation of
in CCW.
Intoxication?
Huh?
Nation of Intoxication?
No, they were called GNC.
GNC.
Gacy and Colon. GNC.
Hell yeah.
And around that time, you could kind of feel both of them kind of getting to the next level, but in two totally different avenues because Alex chose the blood. I always wonder, like, what if Alex, like, went like the Lindsay Dorado, like, with that class, the Rich Swann, and, like, just straight wrestling? How far he would have gotten, if he would have gotten far.
Dude, but Alex Colon is like a top 3 guy. He like does the crazy shit. And I think he loves the shit that much. That's why he continued to do the death match.
He loves Danny Havoc that much. That's why he wants to honor death matches, not just garbage, but like some of the best matches you can possibly ever see.
GNC, a supplemental tag team.
Yep, GNC.
Okay, before we get to
tag team, that's fun.
Before we get to the Wrestling Observer,
that's probably what they were doing.
Before we get to the Observer things, we gotta cover a few more things. There's so much to talk about. It's been a pleasure, by the way, chatting with you guys, just in general.
Of course.
I just love it.
The newest edition, the legendary one.
Oh, yeah, Larry.
So
and you know what?
better.
Round of applause, Larry. It's just so nice talking to you. Even when we have our chats on the phone, you know,
different vibe.
I always say to you, you know what, Larry,
change
man.
the vibe, Larry.
Sometimes,
Definitely
I love dial. I was on the, what is it? Not the debate team, but the oratory thing. I love just talking. I love the sounds.
You had like the
that we
public
make to
speaking class.
communicate.
Did you do the public speaking class?
Yeah, all that shit. I did the announcements in high school,
I always do
morning
terrible at that
announcements,
shit.
the
Yeah, I
afternoon
cut so
announcements,
much
like,
class. I cut the class where we were supposed to make the presentation.
Yo, Larry. So this weekend
more power to that.
we
I would hang out with you.
we
I would
compl-
hang out with you and act like Eddie Haskell, like, oh, I'm so good. But really be like, yeah, Brian, let's fuck around.
Yo, Larry.
Yeah.
Actually, that's like you poisoned me because you would always smoke weed with me in between matches and like you just make it look easy, like drinking beers with me, smoking, going out for breaks, and then like I incorporated that into my act and couldn't spin the plates. I couldn't juggle it.
Oh, you gotta know your limits. Well,
Larry,
I didn't
rip
want to
that
let
fucking
anybody
gravity
down,
bong before we
Pat. My
fucking
thing is, I never
announce.
wanted to let anyone down. Like when you crashed through the thing at that one Psycho Circus that Mikey was at,
Hell yeah.
like I always didn't want to like make a mistake and be like, "Yo, you fucked up the whole show." like I never wanted to be that guy. So,
Well, me neither,
I would-
Larry. Me neither.
with that said, I would smoke and drink, but the whole time I was smoking and drinking, I might be like, "Yo, I'm not gonna face this blunt right now because I'll be stupid out there by the time we get to the main
How
event."
dare you?
Or
I have a low tolerance.
I'm not gonna take like 5 shots before
It
we get to the
sneaks
main
up
event.
on
I'll
me,
take
Larry. It sneaks up on me, okay?
You gotta know your limits, kid.
That's facts. That's
Listen,
facts.
I don't want to
You
talk
gotta know
about
your
this
limits.
anymore.
If you're at the Elks Lodge, then maybe you don't pregame because you're gonna be drinking throughout the whole show.
Hey, you know what?
Also,
Listen,
keep in mind, I gotta do a lot of driving, Pat.
you don't know what I
Brian
do.
knows. As soon as
I
the show's
understand.
done, I'm hitting the road. I can't be sloppy. I'll be dead.
All right,
It's
don't
facts.
yell at me, Larry. Jesus
I'm just
Christ.
saying.
Tell me
He's
about
laying
your weekend.
down.
Tell me about your glorious weekend. You did the Psycho Circus on Saturday night, and then Sunday, quick turnaround, ETU Lightning into Bodle from
So
the
real-
Mecca.
Real quick, shout out to NYWC. I've been involved with NYWC off and on since 2009. So they actually are one of my oldest, truest companies that I can say I'm a member of.
Awesome.
And I got there and I found out all I was doing was like the intro and the main event.
So you got to chill.
Ooh, yikes.
That's awesome.
Paid my full rate in advance. Full rate in advance. Set up my merch. Walk around.
Dude, it looked awesome. It
pictures.
honestly looked fucking awesome.
Yeah,
That
it was
fucking
packed.
cake shit at the end.
It was
There
like
was like-
700 people.
Yeah, I was just
700
gonna say.
people.
It's always
Yeah.
packed. I don't know how they do it.
Is it at the NYWC arena?
Not anymore. Too big.
It's too
Not big
So what-
enough. Not big enough.
Yeah.
Right. They're too big to
So-
do it there.
So they do it at the fire hall. They do it at a volunteer fire hall.
That's fucking
That's
dope.
set up for like banquets and cotillions.
Was
and
that the
flea
place
markets
with
and
the
shit.
leather couches in the dressing room with the TV?
Yeah, the movie room.
Yeah, hell
That
yeah,
was-
dude.
That was Mikey's room. That was Mikey and King Mega's room this
Hell
time, and
yeah.
a few others.
Dude, if I
But
knew
yeah.
that Mikey, I forgot that you were going to be doing it. And if I knew that Mikey was going to be there, oh man, I might have made the trip because I love me some Mikey Whipwreck. Was he happy to see you?
We are always happy to be around each other. I am so blessed. I am so blessed to be as closely associated with an original ECW guy as I am with Mikey Whipwreck, and that is all thanks to NYWC. And him being there kind of made the Psycho Circus.
Yeah.
And I dare say that me being there kind of made,
Hell yeah,
Psycho
dude.
Circus.
Hell yeah.
you know,
You don't even
and,
have to say it.
dude, Ryan the Adrenaline Rush, all these old characters were popping out of the box. Mega, it just felt huge.
It's awesome.
And they
Crowd
took
so
care of
loud.
it.
Low ceilings. 700 people, low ceilings. Absolutely deafening in there.
It was great.
Yep.
And Ami Morgor was there. She was the photographer.
Oh, awesome.
We love
Another
the
old school
Morgor.
friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And Apollyon was there. Tony Nese was there.
Mm.
It was a real extravaganza.
Hell yeah,
Love
dude.
it.
Hell yeah.
And then there was ETU, like lightning in a bottle.
Looked good.
Biggest, one of the biggest crowds
It looked really
ETU's
good.
ever amassed.
No way, really. Because I saw photos and I thought that like maybe less than.
No. So
It's probably just the angle.
Maybe it was an earlier shot.
It was an early
yeah.
shot.
That's the news.
I get all my news from Mittens, basically. So
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see. It felt packed. They were loud. We got the Dragon Gate Tag Team Natural Vibes in there. From the top to the bottom, it was entertaining. And I was the MC. So you already know it was lit.
Right.
As soon as you see me come out, as soon as you see Larry's doing it, it's like, oh shit, this is going to be good.
now, when did you get your haircut? Did you get it before the Psycho Circus or in between Psycho Circus and ETU?
That looks like a fresh cut. That looks like a super fresh.
I got it. I always get my hair cut for like big deals, but I got it done Friday in Baltimore.
Nice.
Before the Psycho Circus.
I know that Ryan the Struggles is like huge about haircuts. He's one of these like every 10 days haircut freaks. And so I wonder if like he tells you in the email like, hey, and you know what? Show up with a fresh cut. You better show up with a fresh cut. I'm going to have one, What
Ryan the Struggles will do is he does a very like black culture thing, and it's called signifying. So like if you're not looking fresh, he will just call you out somebody that is looking fresh.
Right.
And kind of embarrass you and make you think like, oh wow, Larry does look really nice and lined up, and I'm out here looking like one of the bushwhackers.
So did he use you as a signifying tool because you were looking fresh? Did he use you to air somebody else out?
Everybody looked pretty fresh to me. The SATs were.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he sent the emails. Because he sent the email.
Yeah, the email. It's the emails, dude.
No, it's a group chat, one that I never go inside of.
Oh Jesus Christ! He would. He would group chat.
Everybody has.
Yeah, I don't think that. No, I didn't say anything to us collectively. He just knows how Larry Legend carries it. That's why he wants me on his show.
Yeah, hell yeah. How much was the haircut?
I give my guy $40.
$40. All right.
Because I'm 41. I figure I should be paying the amount of years I've been on the earth for a haircut.
Well, how much is it? Is it like a $35 or a $30 haircut with a $10 or a $5 tip?
For haircut and beard, it's $35.
All right, and then you give him the $5. So that's what happened to me. It was $45 for me.
That's expensive.
That makes sense. That makes more sense. That makes sense though. $10 more for New York City.
Mario's cheap.
Yeah, but Mario don't know English.
About $10 more.
Yeah, that's why you go to Mario.
Yeah, but last time Mario, when I showed,
I know he fucked your hair looks good right now.
For Halloween, I showed Mario the picture of Saul Goodman, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
Gene Takovic. But then the next month, I didn't have that photo ready. I was just like, hey, same as last time.
You need a photo. You need to have some kind of photo.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
You need a visual.
You guys know we're coming up on the 2020 3-year anniversary of the time I went to a Dominican barber in the Bronx and showed him Paul Heyman's hair. And it looked like this.
You're probably one of only 2 people I've ever known in history to have done the Mr. Burns haircut purposely, and that's Jeff Cannonball and yourself.
Yeah, so I think that
I think
they thought that I wasn't going to do it. I think they thought that I wasn't going to do it, and I was like, "Oh, bitch, y'all do it."
Yo, that's a lot of faith.
Motivated me to do it.
That's a lot of faith in your hairline that shit's going to grow back evenly.
Oh yeah.
I would never do the Mr. Burns as a joke because I'd be afraid it'd never come back.
I am balding on the very tippy top, like Byron Saxton. I just realized that, and I think that's from all the years of do-rags. Do-rags actually make you go bald.
Yeah, well, that's what they told me in high school. Like, hey, don't wear too many hats because everybody who wears hats all the time goes bald. And I said, I love my hats. Yo, speaking of Byron Saxton, let's touch on WWE real quick before we get into the Wrestling Observer.
Can we talk about Bray Wyatt?
We can talk about, that's the only 2 things I want to talk about really is Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar.
Not Rhodes?
Okay.
I mean, what is Cody Rhodes doing? He's confronting Roman Reigns next week, and Brandy Rhodes.
You think she's going to come out?
Something. Yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman said he was going to keep her warm.
He did.
She's going to come out. It's
He
gonna be
spoke
like,
her into an existence.
yo, they are going to try to
Summoned her.
recreate the. You think this is open night, Mike Night, bitch?
Do you think that she's going to come out at WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes?
Oh well, I think she might be there on Friday. I think she might be there on Friday. I think that it might be Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman, and then something Brandy Rhodes. And she'll be like, you're a black belt, I'm a black bitch. and Cody Rhodes is gonna mention something. He's like, oh, you're Samoan? You're fucking Samoan? We have an interracial daughter. You know, and it's gonna be a whole fucking thing, and then of course Brandy's gonna slap Paul Heyman.
Or kick him in the nuts.
Yeah. No. She's gonna slap him, dude.
Slap. I see.
She threw water in Shaq's face. There's nothing she won't do to Paul Heyman, dude.
I guess. I knew she was gonna call. I knew it wasn't gonna be too long. Yeah, before she resurfaced, you know.
Hell yeah,
dude. She had a new figure in AEW when she was there. She had a new figure every series.
Dude, and you know, it's so funny because I hated Brandy just as much, if not more, than I hated Cody in AEW. But I love Cody in WWE, and I can't wait to see Brandy in WWE. I am so hyped on this. Oh,
it's funny. The gleam of WWE puts them in a different light.
And you know, and it's not always a positive light because there aren't many people in WWE that I actually think are awesome. But Cody Rhodes, I fucking hated in AEW.
You did.
And he was like trying too hard. And now he's trying too hard now, but I love him.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Something.
Did you happen to see him on Logan Paul's podcast?
I saw clips of it. Yeah,
it's very good. You should. I think that you should. If you didn't, Larry, you should watch it too. I happen to like Logan Paul.
I watched Cody with Ariel Helwani.
I've heard many clips of Cody during the whole press junket.
Yo, you know what? It's like, why wouldn't you? If you're just like a company or a team, why wouldn't you? It's like,
have a podcast?
Well, no, I'm just saying it's like Cody Rhodes. Okay, did he suck in AEW? Yeah, kind of. But it's like it's just a guy who's so motivated. It's like he wants to do every talk show. Oh, you want me to wake up at 6 a.m. to do the bump? Sure, I'll be there with a fucking $8,000 suit.
Yeah, he was on all the shows.
And he's got his little pocket watch, and he just has a million suits, and he's doing all the different shows, and he just never sleeps. He never rests. He wants to be John Cena so bad. And it's like, if I see a guy that wants to be the Rock of John Cena as bad as he does, it's like, hey, whatever you want, dude. Let's go, dude.
He's actually doing it for his dad.
Yeah,
they didn't do it for their dad.
Yeah, he's doing it for the legacy of the Reynolds family because
God damn it.
They played with Dusty. They played with him so much. We all know he was the guy.
Well, and you know they
never.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just saying, like, and even the Dusty polka dots, like this,
and the other Reynolds, Dustin,
right?
Gold Dust.
Well, and it's hell yeah, Brian, hell yeah, dude. But it's like just like we were saying about the Sting Hogan thing. It's like we kind of know the story because we care and like kind of know. But Cody's got an answer for all this. Like it's like so they pretend to ask the real questions. Hey, Ariel Helwani. Hey, what do you think about Dusty and the polka dots? And Cody's just got like this perfect answer for it. It's like, oh, well, what do you think about like Gold Dust? And Cody's just got this like perfect.
Asked him 100 times.
Yeah, but he's got this like
same answer every time.
It's like, man, it's like, damn, he's just got like a great answer to like let them off the hook every time. He's just like the best company man, dude. They hired Homelander, dude. It's great.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's been probably plotting this for a very long time.
I think
the entire exit, Ring of Honor, AEW, back to WWE.
Oh, so you think that this move was always in the back of his head?
Always.
And he would never say like, because the only two options are that either this was always in his mind.
He's kind of said that. He said that. I feel like he said. He has brought to light.
But let me ask you this: Is it possible that he's saying that because when CM Punk came around and his shit was failing and Dan Lambert was like poning his wife every week? You think that he only then looked for the door?
I don't know, dude. When Cody Rhodes was in AEW was pretty fucking awesome. When you think about
something, Cody Rhodes.
Dude, like a couple of years ago, AEW was different, and it was like a different wave, you know. And now it's like all shitty. They don't really know what they're doing. There's good matches, but all the stories are combobbled.
Yo, combobbled. Shout out Adam in the chat, Pajama Dan, Jedi Joe. We got Captain Dave participating in the chat, saying what's up to Larry. I remember Dusty and Golden Dots in WWE. I saw him in 1990 with my dad at the Spectrum in Philadelphia against Randy Savage. An absolute classic.
Wow.
Sounds
taking
like
it back.
Yo, that's awesome.
Damn.
And Brian, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to argue with me, but I'm just going to say two things. Cowboy Brock, sell me on the match MVP,
oh my God,
is awesome. White Lightning.
God damn it.
And
Tell me why it's awesome.
And Bray Wyatt with the muscle dance against Bobby Lashley is ridiculous and stupid.
Oh my God. How do you say that to me? How do you watch the Bray Wyatt shit and not instantly think Adult Swim? And even if you didn't, how do you not enjoy it in the least? That's what I want. And Cowboy Brock is the worst. Shit. Brock sucks at talking. He should never talk. Paul Heyman should be his fucking tribal chief. American.
You guys remember when I texted you last night during that segment? I'm like, wow, Brock's really talking.
Yo, he loves to talk.
God. He's the worst.
Okay, so
I can't stand it.
So
unwatchable, dude.
What horrible WrestleMania match are you more excited for? Omos versus Brock or Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley?
I got to tell you right now, Lashley and Wyatt's going to be dope. There's no way it's not going to be dope. Omos sucks.
Okay.
He's not
enough.
good.
Enough. I'm done.
God
done.
Damn it.
Larry, can you settle the argument? Is Brock Lesnar awesome? Does Bray Wyatt suck?
No. Almost sucks.
Brock Lesnar is awesome.
Oh God.
Listen, Brian, I don't like Brock's delivery or anything. But I like variety. So the fact that I'm now getting this version of Brock
He's
Lesnar,
supposed to be a beast.
He still is.
Oh God.
And we'll get to see that again. And Bray Wyatt does not suck.
Okay, all right.
He does not suck, but I feel like the same way, Pat, you were talking about trying too hard to like make this like other than wrestling around him, like the Adult Swim, like the play out, all of this shit is just, it's not my cup of tea. I never feel like I'm going to be compelled to see Bray because of the Uncle Howdy and the Vulture and the, you know, what's her name? Alexa Bliss. Like,
you just don't want to know what happens, though? You're not interested to know what goes on? Like, what comes of it? Like, it's eventually something, like this shit, like, he eventually has to, like, do something. Something has to happen.
Well, hopefully he'll continue wrestling and keep having good wrestling matches and shit. But, like, all the other stuff that was cool, like when Kane made the lightning come down and shit, and, you know, they bought Undertaker and Kane's dead parents out, the coffin.
Right.
Like, I feel like that this is like, we have got to have elements of that. We have got to have like supernatural.
Is that not this?
Well, that's the defense of Bray Wyatt. That's
skits and shit, and like Bray is the best at delivering that and understanding what that vision is.
Who else
but
would
that
be
doesn't
doing
mean
it?
that I want to see that, and I'm like, oh, this is the shit. No.
Well, not everybody's gonna like it.
I would much rather him be like the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt fighting Brock.
Well, you know, it's very unfair to say that because it's like he's come out publicly to say that he can't even do that anymore because the young man died.
Oh, poor him.
Dude, it's not poor. It's being respectful. He'll never put on the Hawaiian shirt ever again because Luke Harper died.
What?
He won't ever do it again.
He's very emotional.
He's an emotional boy. He said it.
You know,
but I respect that. I honestly respect it.
I think he's also trapped in like a vortex of shit because even if like a lot of his build-up isn't bad, you know. It's like, hey, if you're just doing a normal, clean wrestling show and then you want to show me some, like, static TV and some, like, weird, like, you know, Seven, the movie directed by David Fincher type shit, you know, some, like, frames of shit and weird shit. Like, okay, yeah, that gets me excited, right? It's
happy
like,
to sad. It's happy to sad. Happy to sad.
Right, but like as a fan of alternative things, I start liking that. I'm like, oh, what's that? So it's like, even if Bray Wyatt's build-up works for me, he's trapped in a vortex of shit because the delivery, the reveal is never as good as the build-up. And recently, neither have been good, in my opinion. You know, so it's like, you know, and then it gets weirder and weirder, and it's like, okay, it's not.
I love the fucking Mountain Dew blackout match.
I love that you included Mountain Dew. I love that you called it the Mountain Dew blackout match.
So that's what it was.
They got you. They got you, Brian.
I'm saying, like,
they fucking got you,
like,
dude.
That was the name of the match. And I'm just saying that then there's nothing that's been done like that before.
Brian, do you want to take a break so you can go out and buy the sodas? Do you want to go buy the sodas?
I have my goddamn rare tea. Look at this delicious rare tea I'm drinking. It's called Blackberry Cannibal.
Exactly. You know, you just bought it for the name, just like Bray Wyatt, dude.
It's dude, it's a fucking smoothie sour. Why wouldn't I buy it?
All right, final thoughts.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
Final thoughts on Bray Wyatt. Brian, you love him. Larry, you don't hate him
as much. I'm way more excited for Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt than Omos and Brock Lesnar because that's going to be a horrible match.
I don't know.
You're right.
I think that WrestleMania is a spectacle. I wasn't really knowing what to expect from Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Yet that ended up being, like, to me, one of the most memorable things.
They're awesome. Almost is just not good. This is what I'm saying, Brian.
What I'm saying is you can never really judge a book by its cover.
I promise you it's not going to be good.
Neither.
You never know. If it turned into almost an MVP versus Brock Lesnar, and MVP was doing like most of the workload.
That's different. I mean, I would say that would enhance the match because an Omos versus Brock Lesnar alone is either going to be a complete squash match, very quick, or it's going to be a not very good looking match.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is WrestleMania, so all the stops are going to be pulled out, and like a lot of the times, the things that you think are going to be.
Well, I hope it's great. I hope it's goddamn great.
They did fight.
You know?
Yo,
stay on target.
All right. Okay, final thoughts on this. I'm fantasy booking here, okay? Here's what happens. MVP and Omos tangle with Brock Lesnar in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. The Hurt Business reforms. So now you have Cedric Alexander and what's the other guy's name?
Shelton
Benjamin interfering and hurting Brock. So it's MVP, Omos, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander, right? And at WrestleMania, Brock needs an equalizer, somebody to be in his corner, a spectacle, maybe a wrestler, maybe a celebrity. And I want each one of you to tell me who it's going to be. Brian, you go first.
If it's not my boy Paul Heyman, I'd be so tight.
Ooh, that's a good take. I like Paul Heyman.
I just want Paul Heyman to come out with
You can't do it, though. I'm going to strike that from the record. Yeah. You can't do that because Paul Heyman's involved in the main angle. Give me another name.
Just go double dipping,
Yeah, give me another name, Brian.
To be friends with Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, to be in Brock's corner. You know, maybe as an enforcer, maybe just as a presence, even the odds.
Pat McAfee.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I don't hate that.
I keep hearing this man's name is going into the Hall of Fame. It's WrestleMania. We want to see Cena, Dave Bautista in Brock's corner.
Dave Bautista comes out.
That would make if he would team with Brock Lesnar, that would be legendary and make me hype.
Well, maybe not team. Maybe just hang out in his movie sunglasses on the side.
Well, they would have
just to keep an eye on the rest of the Hurt Business.
Yeah, just to glare at them and such.
Also, that's a way huge deal for Shelton and Cedric to be involved in. That's really kind of like, because they kind of are just like there.
Fairly.
Like.
Yo, what about Sable?
Wow.
Oh
I don't
my
think she'd
God,
do
there's
it.
no
I don't
fucking
think she'd
way,
do it.
bro.
Urka,
would
shout
do
out
it.
Urka.
Shout out
Yeah.
Urka.
Shout out
That's-
Urka with
Yo,
the
they-
Sable.
He's referred to his wife recently.
Yeah,
He
but
said he was
unlike
gonna
Brandy
have
Rhodes, like Brandy
sex with
Rhodes,
his
it's
wife
like
for a really long time.
if you mention Cody Rhodes' wife, it's like rubbing a genie bottle. Like she just like pops out, you know, but Brock, like Sable, it's gonna take a little bit more than just a mention.
Also, like, those guys would ravage her, Cedric and Shelton. What the fuck is she gonna do against them?
That's
Kick them?
75-year-old Sable.
okay. So Brian, you are end of story. 78-year-old Sable. Brock Lesnar has sex with her for 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours, before he starts
Grandma
thinking about
Sable.
Bobby Lashley again.
Oh God, this is taking a turn.
All right.
What
so,
about the Observer Awards? It's 8:40.
yeah,
Yes.
we're doing the Observer Awards. I was just gonna say that Brian, you are correct in saying that Omos versus Brock Lesnar is gonna be a much worse match than Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt. However,
100%.
the
Even if it's a
Muscle
match,
Man
it's a match.
promo versus the Brock Lesnar sitting on the couch. Sell it to me, MVP. Drink this white lightning with me, and I'm going to F5 you anyway. The Brock Lesnar promo was far better than the Muscle Man music video, even
I
if
like
you
the
do
Muscle Man
like
music
Adult
video.
Swim.
I like Adult Swim,
Well,
dude.
whatever. All right. Wrestling Observer
I don't like country Brock Lesnar.
2002 year-end awards. Here's what I want to do. I think I want to just read to you. I have the top 5 fan-voted awards of each category. So I think I want to read them to you, and then I want to just get a quick comment from each of you about it. Like, we'll all go around and do a comment about it. Like,
gonna
you could,
pick ours?
like, a comment would be like, who do you think should be number 1? You know, just a comment about it, because there are a lot of awards.
Yeah, there's a fucking award for everything.
And if you're in the chat, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and try to keep up.
Super Chat gets this motherfucker.
And Super Chat, WrestleMania, SummerSlam 05.
Dude, and let me
Let me
just
send
sell
this
this.
to you.
Let me
Let me
sell
send
this.
to you. Even $1, even a fucking
Even just
$1.
$1.
gets
Brian wants to send you
motherfucker,
this
dude.
sealed Hogan Michaels
$1.
SummerSlam 2005 DVD. And let me just sell
Me. I'm on it.
featuring
highest-
Larry in the
The
crowd.
high one gets it.
And let
So
me
if
really
it's
sell it.
$3,
You ready for this? I'm going to really, really sell it for you. If you are a subscriber of Peacock and you click on, however they organize it. First of all, if you want to try to find SummerSlam 2005, you got to go for like SummerSlam Season 20, Episode 5 or something
Right,
like
it's
that.
the worst.
It's
so
very,
dumb.
very
It's
annoying, right?
terrible.
And then, by the way,
Basic network.
little known fact, if you watch that match, it's probably re-edited to be appropriate for NBC and shareholders. Some
Not on
commentary lines are probably missing. Some of the close-ups of Shawn Michaels bleeding literal baby aspirin buckets are probably
Buckets.
cut out of that. But if you unlock this DVD and unseal this DVD and put it into a PlayStation 2, what? A PlayStation 3, what? A PlayStation 4, what? You could watch the unedited as intended in 2005 by the time this came out, when the standards were much different. Maybe there's a fucking lingerie match on here. I don't know. They definitely have an unedited promo of Edge having doggy-style sex with Lita in the ring during
100%,
Monday Night Raw
100%.
in the lead up to his match with Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah, the live sex show is probably on here.
Dude. And probably DVD
Oh, look at
extras and
that.
commentary.
Sean Nazario wanted that fucking sex scene.
I
dude.
sold it. I sold it to him. I sold it. We did it.
Nice.
$2.
If we get a $3 super chat,
Oh
they
my
will
God.
now get this DVD.
The
just so
$3
they know.
could get it.
Or even like a $1 or $2.50.
All right.
I got some stuff here. Should I throw in some stuff?
No.
I'll tell you
Save it
what-
for next week.
Okay.
Give us a
Okay,
teaser.
all right.
Do you have something in mind for next week? Give us a teaser. How much for that plaque behind you?
That's priceless. But I got all types of stuff over here next to me. I got pictures of the Briscoes and the Confederate flag. Ring of
Wow.
Honor. It's not signed.
Just like the
unfortunately.
2005 SummerSlam match, that one's probably never going to be released and edited.
Yeah. Here's some more stuff with them with Confederate flag era, and they were big into the Confederate flags in Ring of Honor.
Big Pantera fans.
Yeah. I got all types of fun stuff.
All right,
I got
so
Andre the Giant's obituary
That's
laminated.
wow.
awesome.
Well, that would be that. No, we
don't-
can't do that. That would be like a minimum.
I
We
just got all types of
we
stuff.
gotta do a
Yeah,
minimum.
that's like a keeper.
All right,
All right,
so
get to these
Wrestling
goddamn
Observer
Observer.
News 2022 Wrestler of the Year, voted on by the Wrestling Observer newsletter subscribers. Votes tallied, top 5. Number 1. Do you guys? Either of you guys have a guess? Do you know? Well,
I know.
First
I
of all,
know,
do you
I
know?
saw. I saw.
Larry, did you see?
Who is it?
It's John
know.
Moxley.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I saw Cornette's take on that.
Right, Cornette did review the entire list. But then, I got to thinking, if Cornette decided to make a list and have all his viewers vote on the Wrestler of the Year and all these things, the list would be equally as ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it would just be too far balanced to the other side.
I mean, looking at
or
the
too far.
looking at the Wrestling Observer results, it's like obviously the people reading it are watching a show liking one specific one.
Right. It's obviously a specific type of viewers because some of these
Right.
picks, like the fact that John Moxley is the Wrestler of the Year is a little bit crazy. Now,
And it's mostly AEW guys getting the W's on that shit.
I'm gonna actually defend John Moxley in this scenario. I'm gonna say, hey, here's why he is Wrestler of the Year. Does he constantly blade himself on television and say fuck on television? Sure, maybe he does. But he was asked to come back from vacation. Not once, not twice, but thrice. So if you want to talk about a guy recognizing his own problems, going to rehab, and coming back just hungry to work and prove himself, and no matter what you want to say about his style of wrestling match or the way that he talks on the mic, and Cornette hates him obviously, but I'm just saying,
Cornette does not like him.
a case
Did
could
he talk
be
a lot
made.
of shit about him being voted number 1?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think a solid case can be made, especially because of the rehab thing, especially because after the CM Punk brawl out drama, he came back and then not
Company
only
guy.
that, carried the championship. And it's like, okay, was he a great champion? Maybe not. But
But that's kind of what makes you kind of Wrestler of the Year if you're having to be a great champion and not just there because you love to be there.
Well, if you're
That doesn't make you a
playing,
great wrestler.
If you're playing a wrestling simulation video game and you filter the wrestlers by overall rating, popularity, and probably contract and money, John Moxley's probably in the top 3 of all 3 of those categories. So it's like, hey, we're in an emergency. Who can we put the belt on? So he answered the bell. So that's my case to actually defend John Moxley as Wrestler of the Year. My heart is telling me like Sami Zayn, or maybe, earlier in the year, basically the first half of 2022, everyone's saying that Dax Harwood was in the discussion, but he's not even in top 5. It's John Moxley, Roman Reigns, Will Ospreay, Okada, and Syuri.
Well, Will Ospreay is like an out of this world. He's on a different level than most people are.
Well, and
He's
also, you could say, what does Wrestler of the Year really mean? Because some people will say the Wrestler of the Year could just be asses and seats only,
Right.
So
strictly merch sales or ticket sales.
final answer, Brian, 2022 Wrestler of the Year.
I gotta say Roman Reigns.
2022 Wrestler of the Year, Larry Legend.
I'm gonna go with Chris Jericho.
Wow, all right.
The Ocho.
Could you tell me why? Give me a few sentences why.
He's going with the underdog. He's going with keeping wrestling alive. And I'm thinking of it kind of not in the scope of technique or 5-star matches, but just legacy of where he is in the game today and the impact that he's still making on those around him and on wrestling as a whole. To me, makes him because I would never think that he would be doing the things that he's doing right now in 2022.
And he's so good, man. He's so funny.
He's doing.
I agree with you.
He's doing good work for the business. So sentimentally, I guess, would make him, in my eyes, the wrestler of the year. But I definitely could see how Mox could win that accolade. I definitely could see how he would be voted wrestler of the year.
What about Roman Reigns, though?
You know, Roman Reigns is great. Roman Reigns is great. He has great matches, and he has really compelling storylines and all of that. But like, I guess he's still like growing into like, you know,
this is definitely his best form that he's been.
Yeah, he's apexing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but like I guess the reason why he isn't the wrestler of the year is because it's so obvious that he has the machine behind him.
100%, and has forever.
Right, like the narrative is like
he's in Hawaii.
Like they basically tricked us into the storyline that they've always wanted, which is that he's the man. Right?
Right.
So, like, they took a roundabout way, like, he had to get booed, and then he had to get leukemia and go away.
But he was,
and now he's back.
Bad, dude. He was legitimately bad.
And he had to get fake teeth. You know, he had to get fake teeth. And somebody had to, while he was sick and away, somebody probably showed him The Sopranos, you know? and then he had to get Paul Heyman. And now he is finally in the form that they always wanted us to think that he was in. Right? So, like, that's the shit thing. It's like, I love him. I got mad love and respect for him. I think the storyline's great. But also, it's like, man, they got their way in the end. So, and I think that's why maybe wrestling fans wouldn't exactly vote him as number one. You know, I think you could say Jon Moxley means more to his company than Roman Reigns means to his.
Right.
Agree?
Dude, bloodline storyline. I mean, it might be because of Sami Zayn.
We'll get more into it. I think
entertaining shit in wrestling.
I think best storyline and most underrated should probably be Bloodline and Sami Zayn. You know, let's get back into it.
Because it's Roman too.
Okay. Tag team of the year, FTR, number one. The Briscoes, the Young Bucks, the Usos, the Acclaimed. If I had to amend this, now you know, part of me wants to put it like Usos, FTR, Acclaimed, Briscoes, Young Bucks. I almost want to say Usos on top because of what we were just talking about. But yeah, number 1 through 5. FTR, Briscoes, Young Bucks, Usos, Acclaimed. Brian, what do you think?
I think FTR all the way. I think they're anytime they have a match, it's insane. No matter who they have it with. And they deserve to be number 1. 100%.
Great new podcast to listen to is Dax of FTR watching his old NXT matches and doing a podcast about it. I don't know.
It has a funny name.
Dax something. Larry, who's your favorite tag team of 2022?
Definitely the Briscoes. Again, similarly for the reasons that I picked Chris Jericho. It's like when you look at the overall legacy of like the game, like they were doing it at a super high level consistently. And this year, when the company that they even worked for disappeared or was absorbed, and those, you know, I was at Jay's funeral. Like we see how this story, their last chapter ended as a tag team, and Mark Briscoe, his brother, talked about how God smiled down on them with their last run. And that involved a lot of matches at like House of Glory and like maybe not everything that was as mainstream.
Well, and they did they did the trilogy with FTR.
FTR, yes indeed, you know, right. But technical is not like, I'm not like more leaning towards like, oh, you know, I'm more of an like not an or like, you know, what we were talking about with MGF about like what am I watching? You know, and the Briscoes consistently were great to watch because of the way that they wrestled. Promos also. So yeah, for me, it's the Briscoes.
Yeah, they cut promos like no other.
Yeah, and any 4 of these teams to me, FTR, Briscoes, Acclaimed, and the Usos are all like probably the 4 best tag teams by a large margin. The
Acclaimed definitely bottom of the list.
See, you know, and I think that the real travesty of 2022 was that the Young Bucks didn't do the trilogy with FTR. I think that even if, like, whether you're, you know, whichever side of the aisle you're on, Wrestling Observer Dave Meltzer or Jim Cornette, you know, whatever, I just think the real travesty, I think we could all agree,
Yes,
is that
GCW too. I forgot them. My bad. Sorry.
is that oh yeah, and they did a lot of great GCW work.
They didn't. Well, Briscoes, but they didn't go through with that trilogy. I hope this means that I don't ruffle a lot of feathers, but the Young Bucks like do the same thing.
Yeah,
they're the worst to me.
Well, and they had the 7 match series with Death Triangle, which was so boring.
God.
Yeah,
It
Young
was
Bucks
so
to me aren't
predictable.
even in the conversation. Okay, how about this? Last question on Tag Team Wrestlers of the Year 2022. The 5 were FTR, Briscoes, Young Bucks, Usos, Acclaimed. Take the Young Bucks out. Each of you give me a 5th team that's not the Young Bucks. So you got FTR, you got the Briscoes, you got the Usos, you got the Acclaimed. Give me the next best tag team of the year last year.
Shit, that's putting on the spot.
Oh, I think I got one.
Well, who say it? Give us time to think.
I mean, I'm going back to WWE because I want to give them some love. They got to have a good tag team. I mean, I don't know who is the best female tag team. How about fucking Alpha Academy? Shoosh, he got Shoosh over in 2022. All right,
If I'm
they're
going with
both.
WWE, I'd probably go more with Montez and Dawkins.
how about okay? I like that.
Yeah.
What about who's better, Bussy or Dawkins and Montez?
So you're going indies too. So like I appreciate like fucking Ciclope and fucking Los Macizos.
No, all right, we're not even going there. Forget it. It's definitely the Street Profits replace the Young Bucks as the 5th best tag team of the year.
Facts. That's
okay,
100%.
best on interviews. I want a guess from each of you. Brian, what's your guess? Best on interviews.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say the best Jew in the world. That's my boy MJF.
Larry, do you agree?
MJF's really good. I am still a mark for the other really great talking Jew in the business, Heyman.
Ooh, those are the 2 Jews.
It's like,
See, I wonder if this is best wrestler on interviews or best overall performer on interviews. But the list is MJF, MJF, John Moxley, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, Eddie Kingston.
Kingston is my wrestler. If I don't get to pick Heyman, if it's in the scope of wrestling, I co-sign the Kingston.
Kingston, he's kind of like melted down in the last 6 months, though. He's kind of like he's like shooting a little too hard, maybe. I don't know.
He came in hot.
He's coming in a little hot. You know, I appreciate him though because I feel like that's what would happen to me if I was hired at AEW. I completely alienate myself. Every single after party, one by one, I would lose all the friends that I have.
I heard that he called out Claudio for the ROH belt. So it's going to be
fight him?
To fight him. It's going to be Claudio and Eddie Kingston for the title.
That's an old CZW match.
I think that's
an old Shakara.
All right, so this is like kind of bullshit. I mean, it's skewed because once again, Brian, like you said, it's the voters of a specific thing voting on things. Promotion of the year 2022. AEW number 1.
Of course.
Stardom number 2.
I don't even know Stardom.
Number 3 WWE, number 4 New Japan, and number 5 UFC.
I'm going to say the promotion. I'm going to say the promotion of the year was GCW.
Wow.
Because GCW is now in the conversation more than like an Impact, an MLW.
Dude, they do so many shows. It's insane.
And that's what it is. They run a schedule that's like insane for an indie.
Multiple shows a month.
Yeah, but I mean, was there
GCW?
So when was the Hammerstein show? January 2021?
January 2020. Yeah.
21 or 22?
21.
No, it was 21. It was COVID times.
Oh yeah, because they got the fake.
All right, so that's the only argument that I would have, and I'm not hating, but I would just say the question to be asked is, did GCW follow up their 2021 with an amazing, if not better, 2022? Because 2021 January they started at Hammerstein.
But that was the culmination of a lot of hard work.
Well, I'm just saying, was their 2022 better than their 2021?
I would say so. They've been building. They've been growing.
Hammerstein was a milestone, but I'm just talking about the train that they ran. They got a lot of momentum with, just everything that they're doing, and the train that they ran through 2022 was unstoppable.
And Sean,
since they did that show, they also did that Fight TV thing where they have the deal where you pay $5 and you get every single fucking GCW pay-per-view.
Okay, hey, you know what? And Sean in the chat says yes.
They're doing big things. They're doing big things.
And you know what?
You know what? I'm an indie guy. I'm an indie guy that wants the little guy to come for more ECWs to arise.
Oh,
I want that for Brett.
Well, there you go.
That for everybody.
We're getting breaking news here in the chat. Hammerstein was January 2022.
I thought so.
I didn't think so. I don't know if that's true.
I had COVID. I couldn't go because I had COVID. I gave my tickets to Pat. He sold them.
All right, so
January 2022 was last year. That's when the Hammerstein show was. That's when Casanova Valentine had that bar show right after it.
All right, so you know what? Then I'm going to change my vote. If Hammerstein was in 2022, then I'm going to say that the promotion of the year in 2022 was GCW.
There's no better promotion than WWE, bro. Their production is insane. Just the way it looks and sounds, there's literally nothing better. Their little videos their packages and their lighting. There's no better production. GCW looks and sounds like trash.
You like their packages.
I'm just
January 23rd, 2022. January 23rd, 2022. The World on GCW.
Wow, yes. Unbelievable. Look at us. Look at us now.
So look, I'm just saying that it looks like shit. As
far as looks and audio and sound and just presentation as a company, it's WWE, hands down. And that's just my opinion.
Wrestling Observer News 2022 Match of the Year. Have you guys thought about this? Brian, give me your Match of the Year. He's going to say Tremont versus Sawyer Wreck.
I mean, dude, it's got to be Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, dude. Oh, that just happened this year. We're talking about 2022. Damn it.
Couldn't take the easy way out there.
What are there?
All right, whatever. Forget it. We're not going to do it this way.
Talk about the options.
I'm just going to tell you what they are. I won't surprise you with things that you guys haven't thought about.
Let's hear them.
Wrestling Match of the Year. Okada versus Ospreay in the G1 final. Won the vote. Then on second, you had FTR versus the Briscoes 3, which I believe was the dog collar match. Then you had Okada versus Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom 16. Then number 4, FTR versus the Briscoes 1.
Good night, Adam.
Which was in Washington, D.C., I believe. And then you have Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash at the Castle, which I like that made it. Hey, good night, Adam. Thank you so much.
Warrior. That's a warrior battle.
Honorable.
I would have to say it's the Briscoes and FTR 3, the dog collar match, dude.
Yeah, that was great.
Hands down.
You know, I'm surprised that none of the MJF CM Punk stuff made this list here. But honorable mention.
That dog collar match happened in 2022 as well.
Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul was a good one. United States Wrestling MVP. Jon Moxley, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, MJF, and Daniel Bryanson.
Bryan Danielson.
Daniel Danielson. Japanese MVP, Okada. Mexican MVP, Vikingo. European MVP, Will Ospreay. The Hodge Award for non-heavyweight MVP is Vikingo first, Darby Allin second, Desperado third, Mike Bailey fourth, shout out Mike Bailey, and Ray Phoenix fifth.
I feel like Vikingo's pretty big, isn't he? Or is he small?
Already small.
He's a small boy. He fucks up a lot. Vikingo does the most crazy shit I've ever seen anybody do, but a lot of it looks like botchy. Not the safest, but it looks crazy.
He's awesome.
You love it.
As voted for by the AEW fans' biggest box office draw. Number 1, Roman Reigns. Number 2, John Cena. Number 3, CM Punk. I would actually put CM Punk first because I think
So would I.
Yeah.
So would I.
Because CM Punk, throughout the years or the months, whatever, that he was available and doing the, pay-per-view matches for AEW, like, you talk about who means more to their company. And
who sells the most merch? Wouldn't that come down to who sells the most merch?
Yeah, but merch is one thing, but it's like, who really, like, brought more eyeballs to their spot? And it's like John Cena, I feel like there are more wrestling fans that are loving John Cena as a movie star as there are movie fans who will tune into John Cena wrestling in a wrestling match.
I feel like a big draw is Sami Zayn, has been Sami Zayn. People are tuning into Raw because they want to see what happens with Sami Zayn.
Yeah, like I think for like emos like me, like the three of us, yeah, maybe Sami Zayn is why we're watching, but I think for the rest of the world,
like kids and shit.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I don't think it's really, it's either CM Punk or Roman Reigns. Just want to talk about the last year. Feud of the year. Any guesses?
2022. Fucking.
Hangman and CM Punk.
Hangman and CM Punk didn't make the list, but CM Punk did make the list at number 2.
MJF and CM Punk?
Yes, CM Punk versus MJF were number 2. Number 3 was Cody versus Seth. Number 4 was Tam Nakano versus Nasupoi. I apologize for my pronunciation. Number 5 was Elite versus Death Triangle. So what was number 1? If CM Punk versus MJF was number 2, what was number 1? Put on your thinking caps. Out of time. It was FTR versus the Briscoes.
We're all drunk and high here. Give us a break.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Most improved. Number 1. Who was your most improved? Chris Jericho? Perhaps
Roman Reigns.
Dominic Mysterio? Perhaps Wheeler Yuta? Perhaps Jamie Hayter? No. Number 1, The Acclaimed. Agree, disagree, Brian?
I disagree. I think they've gone downhill from their peak. They peaked.
2022?
They had that was their peak. They from their good 2022, they've since come downhill.
All right, you're done. You're done. Bad take, Bri, rearing his ugly head. What about you, Larry?
It's my name.
I'm gonna say most improved, probably Rhea Ripley.
Oh, that's a great one, actually.
Yeah, from when she fought Charlotte at that Mania with nobody to like how she's broken out and everything. I just think she's like destined to be like the broad.
Most that's a great take, Larry. Good take, Larry. Bad take, Bri. Most charismatic. Number 1, MJF. Number 2, Sami Zayn. Number 3, Roman Reigns. Number 4, CM Punk. And number 5, never heard of them, Julia.
Okay.
Interesting. I would have to say MJF.
I think Paul Heyman.
Dude, I honestly think the most charismatic is Montez Ford.
Yo, yes, dude.
Dude, he's like,
he's great. He really is
dude,
so
he's
good.
Just like, he's like all eyes on him. It's almost like I feel bad for Dawkins because Dawkins is really good. He's
he
really
steals
good.
the show.
But
He steals
Montez
the show.
is just like all eyes on me. Like
that is a great opinion. I totally agree with you. The Daniel Danielson, Brian Danielson, Daniel Bryanson Best Technical Wrestler Award. Just ask you a quick question. As long as Daniel Bryan is alive, should he not win this award?
You mean while he is alive?
As long as he's not dead.
Right.
yeah.
Till he's not alive. Till he's not alive.
So he's dead. He shouldn't be. It shouldn't be named after him.
Right. It shouldn't.
That
He
would
shouldn't have an
like
award
be
till
like
he's
saying
dead.
like his entire catalog is like We know it already, even what he's going to do in the future.
Do you guys think that Bryan Danielson won this award?
Yeah, because his name's in the title.
Yeah, he won. He won it. Yes. You are correct.
up there. Claudio's up there.
Now, Bruiser Brody is dead. So there's the Bruiser Brody Memorial Best Brawler Award.
Box.
The best brawler, Brian, do you have a guess?
Box.
Brawler? Would you call Eddie Kingston a brawler?
Eddie Kingston is in the top 5, but Mox is number 1. It's Mox, Ishii, Suzuki, Kingston, Gunther.
Ooh.
And I don't know why Gunther is in all caps, but they're just going with it.
Because you got to say it like you mean it.
Gunther.
I mean, guys, Moxley bleeds buckets every time. I would give it to Moxley.
Who has? What about the? How about the special Blvd Bullies award? How about the Bruiser Brody Forehead Award? Who's got the worst current forehead as active wrestlers?
You can't even give it to anybody besides Matthew Tremont.
Yeah, Matthew has worked very hard.
He's worked so hard for that fucking unicorn.
I haven't even thought about that, but yeah, I didn't even think about that while I was asking the question. But it's so obvious. You're right. I apologize for wasting everyone's time. Best High Flyer of 2022. Vikingo won it. Dante Martin was number 3. It's Vikingo, Ray Phoenix, Dante Martin, Commander, who I don't know, and Will Ospreay.
I want to give it to Ninja Mac. Ninja Mac does crazy shit. You know Ninja Mac?
Ninja Mac is definitely up there.
Yeah, he deserves to be up there.
All right, it's unanimous. Ninja Mac. This was wrong. What about the most overrated wrestler of 2022? Who's the most overrated?
That would be a big Drew McIntyre for me.
I'm going to go Zack Ryder.
Overrated.
That's a good take, bro. That's a good take, Pat.
Thanks so much. It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
I got to say Young Bucks.
Ooh, okay. So top 5 most overrated of 2022. Number 5, Austin Theory. Number 4, CM Punk. Number 3, Roman Reigns. I'm laughing because I didn't expect to see this person's name on any list, but he made number 2, Tyrus.
And Tyrus from what is that?
NWA.
NWA.
But the number one as voted by the WAN subscribers, Ronda Rousey. Rousey.
I mean,
that's a great take.
Yeah.
That's a great take.
Yeah, I mean, out of those 5, I guess I gotta say, I don't know. I haven't even really thought about most overrated.
Reputation.
Oh, yeah. That's not a bad suggestion. Who's the most underrated wrestler of 2022? For me, what comes to mind is Ricky Starks, but I feel like Ricky Starks kind of got his due in 2022. But he is number 5 on the list. Number 4 is Mustafa Ali.
I was thinking Mustafa, actually.
Mustafa Ali.
He popped in my mind first.
Number 3, most underrated, Ricochet.
Ricochet as well popped in my mind. Both of those guys popped in my mind, actually.
Yo, you know what? Now that we're thinking, I'm thinking about Ricochet. I'm thinking about all this shit. Yo, most underrated, honestly, for me, Baron Corbin. But whatever. The number 1.
I'm thinking Finn Balor.
Ooh, that's not a bad one.
He's an underrated man.
Yeah, and especially in the role he's been playing lately. It's kind of
awesome matches.
He's been chilling and doing his thing. Yeah,
he's really funny. If you really watch his shit, he says funny shit.
Number 1 most underrated, Takeshita. Yeah, so it goes 1 through 5. Takeshita, Chad Gable, Ricochet, Ali, Ricky Starks. Chad Gable, I could go. Rookie of the Year. Number 1, Braun Breaker. Number 2, Hook. Number 3, Logan Paul. Number 4, Tomoka Inaba. Number 5, Solo Sikoa. I might go Logan Paul.
100%, dude.
100%
so awesome.
Logan Paul. I'm with that.
Yeah, he's awesome. Best non-wrestler. Best non-wrestler.
Meaning like Paul Heyman?
Number
Like a-
one
like
is
a-
Paul Heyman, yeah. Who's the number
yeah.
2 best non-wrestler of 2022? It's easy. I'm going to tell you. William Regal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, I don't even think he was around that much this year, but Don Callis.
Mm.
Number 4, Stokely Hathaway, and the people's vote. Who should have really won? Rick Ross is
Oh,
number
yes.
5.
He was awesome.
Who's your guys' favorite television commentator in wrestling?
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he's number 5. He's mine too. He's by far my favorite. And
Yeah.
he makes Adam Cole jump a few spots for me too.
Mm.
When Pat McAfee and Adam Cole are together, Adam Cole becomes someone I love.
I mean, Michael
Yeah.
Cole.
Did I say Adam Cole?
You said Adam.
Yeah, Michael-
Same
well,
family,
they
same
did
family.
fight. They fought.
Same family. But, you know,
Yeah,
Michael Cole. Yeah, McAfee elevates Michael Cole to me. So to
He
me,
gets
it's...
excited when he's there.
Yeah. Brian, who's
Hey,
your
I
favorite?
hate to be the Debbie Downer, but I'm at 10% battery. How we looking?
Oh, well, I'm just going to say Paul Heyman, then we can end the show.
All right, let's just end the show.
I didn't mean to do that.
No,
Let's
it's
just end
good.
the
It's good. I have to eat food and tend to my fucking broken thumb.
Maybe we'll talk about the rest of this next week because I find it to be very interesting and
How
fascinating.
much more do we have? How much more do we
Oh
have?
my God, like an hour's worth.
Oh, there's too many. There's too many.
There's
Like
so
I'm
many.
at
fucking
10%
Oscars.
battery and
But
my
you know what?
charger's
I
all
want
the
to
way
talk real
downstairs.
quick. I just want to end this with saying that the amount of votes for this is very alarming to me. Because, you know, when we talk about what we talked about in the beginning of the show, which was ICW being the most streamed and watched thing on IWTV.
Mm.
Let me ask you a question. It could be hypothetical. Choose to answer if you'd like or not. Who do
Urka
you-
just
Yeah,
won the DVD.
Urka.
She
Thank
just
you, Urka.
got the DVD. She did it.
Shout out Urka.
Shout out Urka.
Shout out. You won the DVD. The most watched thing on IWTV.
This is your fault.
Do you think that the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which has had subscribers for 30 years, who do you think has more viewers / subscribers? IWTV or the Wrestling Observer newsletter? I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just curious what you guys think.
I would say the
Wrestling
newsletter.
Observer newsletter definitely because of the sheer years that it has over IWTV
Mhm.
has the most subscribers.
Now, how
Fact.
many people do you think, percentage-wise, out of their subscribers would vote in their end-of-year polls?
Who, IWTV or
Observer.
Observer, the Observer.
More than 50%.
A
Yeah, more than
large
50.
amount, right?
70, at
Yeah.
least 70%, I would
So
say.
here's the thing, and this is just, I just want to put it all in a little package with a bow on it. John Moxley, Wrestler of the Year, won with 498 first place votes.
It's not that many votes.
Number 2, Roman
how many
Reigns.
total votes were there for everyone?
Oh,
30.
well, he's fair, I
Okay,
guess.
so let's go. 5,000.
That's a good amount of people,
That's a
bro.
good. That's a good amount of people.
But
I
think
thought
about-
it
think
was
about-
like
5,000 people voted?
500. I would have been like, 5,000.
Yeah,
Well-
5,000 people, that's a lot of votes.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
counting all the first place votes as different ballots. I'm not lumping them together. So the 500 people who voted as John Moxley as number 1 couldn't have voted Roman Reigns. So I'm like cumulatively adding them together, and I'm being
Right.
generous, and I'm saying 5,000. But think
Right.
about like there are 8-year-olds on YouTube who get 10,000 views, and they're considered like D-class YouTube celebrities.
Right.
And if you think the Wrestling Observer newsletter has more subscribers than IWTV has subscribers, then the highest rated show on IWTV, well, who knows how many people that has.
That's true.
For Larry Legend, for Begins the Merch Guy, I'm PK of the Blvd Bullies. Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for Blvd Bullies versus the World. Love ya, live for ya, out at time. Bye-bye!
Boulevard.
Oh, so Christ, may you burn in hell forever, 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 forever.
Boulevard.